afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in the universe. This is Captain Swifty, the Ineffectual Gamer, and this is Microsoft Flight Simulator, the Discovery Series. Yes, stream. I've had a few problems getting myself up and running, and now I can hear myself in the background, so I do apologise for that, but I didn't. I had a few problems getting it connected for some reason. I have absolutely no idea why my restream wouldn't connect, but it kept on saying wrong URL or something, so it's good. It looks like everything's up and running now, so let's just say your channel. Yep, that's live. Okay, let me just check on Twitch TV. Okay, Twitch. Channel. That's already saying it's streaming, so that's good stuff. That is good stuff. Yep, okay, that's up and running. So I can shut down all my web pages and stuff just to save on a little bit of how do I put it? A little bit of oh, I didn't message him. Streaming, bud. Meant to message you earlier. So I just messaged Ella's guy. So okay, let's get this kind of up and away. So let me turn on my restream chat. Restream chat, where are you? Okay. Got you. Come on. Okay, good stuff. Right, okay, so yes, what was I saying? Oh crap, I've opened up a web page. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a disaster. And I shouldn't be a disaster. Not today. I've been getting ready for this for a while, but the non-connection to Restream threw me. It really threw me. And I don't know why, but it did. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do, okay? So this Discovery Series is separate from my Round the World trip, okay? So I did a test flight just a couple of nights ago with Captain Elledsgar. And actually, I don't know whether he wants to be called Captain Gunslinger now. I know him as Elledsgar, but he might want to be called Captain Gunslinger. I'm not too sure. So I did a flight with him the other night. We did one I had planned out, and he followed it with me, and we both flew kind of in tandem. It was pretty cool. I don't know if it was one of the most interesting flights, but it was interesting. It had some interesting spots and stuff to look at, and it took us, I think, a good couple of hours. Tonight's flight's much longer. I think it's going to be around 4 hours, 4 hours to 5 hours. It could be shorter because I'm not too sure exactly. I'm looking at it and going, don't know. It's X hundred amount of nautical miles with some turns and stuff. So yeah, I'm predicting 4 to 5 hours maybe. Now, any of these trips can be done in legs. You don't just have to take the way that I do it. You can do different little bits and add little bits to it if you want. The whole point of the Discovery Series is to do some interesting trips that are going to show interesting places. I will add that I have added some additional things to the game. So some mods have been added to make the game more watchable, or the stream more watchable, or the game more interesting. So that is to be noted. If you fly this course, you might not have the same experience. However, I'm actually you don't want to be called Captain Gunslinger. That's the name on your airplane. What do I do? It says Gunslinger. I'd prefer to call you Elledsgar, but although you're in my phone with one R, have to change that. So all of these trips that I do in this web series are going to be put into Discord, so people can follow them at their own leisure when they want to. So the flight plans will be uploaded along with the video, and you'll be able to go see these things for yourself. So let me show you what we are doing. So my screen may seem a bit out of sorts today. It's because when I loaded up OBS, everything was out of position, and I don't know why it's done it, because it shouldn't. It was using properties from another stream, but I've got a different setup for that, so I don't know exactly why it did that, but it did, and it meant that I had to go in and change everything. So I'm going to stop my preview there so I can save myself some frame rate, because we are going to be flying over New York. So good they named it twice. So we're going to set out from KLDA, which is Linden Airport in New Jersey. We'll fly over the Big Apple, and we will follow the, can't remember if this one's the Hudson. I think it is the Hudson, this river on the right hand side of the island. I can never remember the difference. We're going to follow it all the way up through here. We're going to see some nice places through here, and then we're going to go all the way up to Niagara Falls, which is here, and then we're going to pass over in Toronto. So this is going to be a nightmare. I'm hoping my computer doesn't crash actually under the stress of this one, because this one could be a pretty darn big one. We'll be able to see Kennedy International Airport. I'll try and point that out. We should be able to see LaGuardia very easily, and I suppose we should be able to see Yankee Stadium as we pass through here. Might even see the Mets Stadium. I don't know if we'll be too low to see the Mets Stadium, but we'll have to see. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. So let me just get my papers together so I know what I'm doing. Okay, so so let me just knock that back. So I just need to make sure that I'm running certain things right. Right, let me turn that off. Why is this not showing us live? Why is this not showing us live in the bloody stream? I'm gonna have to do this on my phone now. I do apologise, but I know it's live because I can see it's live in OBS, but it's not showing on my YouTube, so I'm gonna have to do it on my telephone instead of. Okay, so restream chat. Okay, and telephone. Okay, so stand my telephone up that way. Okay, so let's get this moving. Okay, now you remember the last stream I did had a load of crashes. This is because there was an issue with the last update. Apparently for some people it's been happening more often than not before. I never felt it until this most recent update, but the other night when we were crashing constantly, it was ridiculous. Luckily found out roughly what it was, and hopefully now those crashes won't be so common. So as you can see, the map's loading up, so you can see roughly where I am. It's quite a long way out. I was considering actually changing the map details to let you see a little bit further in, but we'll go with it as it is for today. It's a good satellite map, so you'll see I've added in the ground speed again. So where it says speed, SPD, that'll give you the ground speed, and then the IAS will give you the indicated airspeed. So I am going to play around a bit tonight with this plane, because I've been watching a million videos of it this week, and I wish, or I hope, that the next version of it is either added or becomes available as payware. Now I don't always really like buying payware, but I love this plane, and the newer versions are even better. It's probably the most simple plane to fly. If you imagine that we all might be flying in the future, this would be the plane we'd be flying it in, because you can't, it's quite difficult to crash. it's easy to set up, and all you really need to know is how to do all the ATC and read the maps and stuff, so the charts. Sorry, I shouldn't say maps, it's a bit which I still can't do. I did, however, today do a landing without the approach markers. So that's the first one I've done, and it was sublime. I think I can't boast too much about it because it was on stream, so nobody says it, so nobody saw it. Sorry, so I could be lying my pants off. But no fingers crossed, no toes crossed. I'm not lying. It was an absolute peach of a landing. Yeah. Now I'm gonna feel cocky now, so I'll probably make a mistake and slam it straight into the ground. But hey ho, hey ho, hey ho. What do you do? Well, hopefully I won't. A couple of other things is that quite often when I take off, I don't fly the runway heading enough. Now, I say enough because it's not prerequisite that you fly the runway heading, but you're supposed to at least clear the runway fully before you make any turns or anything like that. So I've got to keep that into consideration. Stop that on my phone. Okay. So I did want to make a change. Actually, I'll have to do it when it loads in. It seems to be loading slower these days, by the way, since the new update. Which I don't know why. They did a good job of getting it to load faster, and now it loads a lot slower. Maybe I have to get an SSD. Couldn't get an SSD big enough, I don't think. You'd have to get a terabyte one for this game, because it's going to go forward and keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I was actually considering getting a Flight Simulator specific hard drive at some point, but I don't think it'll be an SSD. I don't think so. So I'm sure we're going to get to see, we're going to fly out of this airport, which I've never flown out of this one before. We'll get to see the Verrazano Bridge, we'll get to see Governor's Island, Brooklyn Bridge, Statue of Liberty, of course, the Manhattan Bridge, and I forget the next one. I can't remember, and then the Queensboro Bridge. I think it is after that one. So we should get out to see the main one, and then it's the East River will be going up because it's in the east, not the Hudson. But we will follow the Hudson later on.
Kilo Lima Delta Juliet traffic Ineffectual gamer.
Okay, so you can see here we're definitely in New Jersey because it looks very industrial. Graphics are a bit peaky here actually, but we'll let them load in slowly. I got a tip the other day that you should... Oh, we're going to be runway start. I forgot. Oh, people, I forgot to do the dark start. Oh, did you know if I do that again, I'm going to kick myself. I really am. So somebody gave me the tip the other day and said, let this run for about a minute or two while it loads the game in. Now these graphics here, they're going to be bad. They are going to be bad. That's okay. Ones are expected to be bad, and I'm going to have to be quick on the ball here when I start, so I'm going to start it now, and I'm going to have to quickly, please say it's stalled. Yeah, he's going to try and start it, isn't he? No! Start as you mean to go on, eh? Yeah, I had him park it earlier, and I forgot to turn it off. Right, and it's managing radio comms. Alright, we've only moved forward a turn a little bit. So let's just make sure everything's set up so we're good to go. I don't want to don't want to believe in anything. Okay, that should be on auto for sure. That should be no, the other way. There we go. No, it shouldn't. The ignition should then be off, I'm guessing. Okay. Inert sep can go, and that is no, maybe the ignition switch should be on auto. That's the one that should be on auto then. Or is it that one turn off? Okay, so I cleared the CAS. It's cleared the CAS. Okay, so we need beam, bam, boom. Those are on. Okay. We need landing lights. So turn. No, so it's set to landing lights. I think I'll just double check. Yeah. was. Okay, I love how I tipped my head there, but I didn't want to. We're gonna go bleed should be on auto, which it is. That's okay. Okay, so it looks like circuit breakers on. Okay, put on a little bit of AC here for me and the passengers. Got the kids in the back. Okay, FMS. So we're gonna go nav. What altitude were we given? Right. Announce takeoff. Depart straight out. I won't bother giving a direction.
Kilo Lima Delta Juliet traffic Ineffectual Gamer 907 taking off runway 27 departing straight out.
Okay, so I'm guessing this one we don't have to do any type of clearance, so we're going to set up our own thing. So we are at an altitude of 20 feet. Okay, so we're at sea level and we're going to land at sea level. So I am going to set us up at, for the moment, I'm going to set us up at 2,000 feet, I think. No, 2,500. Let's say 2,500. Okay, we're going to go with a vertical speed of 1,300. Which I found out is the... well, you normally do a flight level change when they're going up, and it looks like when they come down at 1,300. But I've seen people doing flight level changes when they're coming down as well, so I'm guessing that's kind of optional. Speed bugs. Yes, yes, and yes. We don't need the virtual approach one yet. We'll do that on the way back. PFD settings. We'll do that to option 3. Okay, so now I'm ready to take off. But not a minute earlier. But what I do have to do is open my VFR map first. Okay. I'll close it down there, and then I'm going to have not AI control. I'm going to have the ATC, where you will see my face. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that the ATC and whatnot doesn't interfere too much with your kind of view of the cockpit and stuff. So flaps are ready for takeoff. We are all the engines at the correct temperatures and everything, so we're okay. We're good to go. Okay, so let's fly this. Let's do this. Centered in the runway. Seems like quite a short runway actually, but I think it's just curved a little. Well, it's quite short. I can see the traffic now. Off we go. So, okay, we're gaining altitude. Touch the brakes. Bring up the up 10 degrees here. Okay.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
She'll shut up in a minute. It's just because we're at a certain height.
Landing gear.
Okay.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Okay, so we're going to put the yaw damper here.
Landing gear.
We're going to stop there.
Stall.
We're going to stall. Give me a break. What about?
Stall. Stall.
Sorry, people.
Stall. Stall.
I don't know what's going on here. I might have to reload this, eh?
Stall.
What's it doing? Come on.
Stall.
Don't be stupid. Let's
Landing gear.
get this in the order. Give over.
Landing gear. Stall. Landing stall.
The hell?
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Certainly not at stall speed.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Stall.
Oh, hang on. Something's gone wrong here. I haven't got any control of this.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
This is really weird.
Landing gear.
Right, let me put my flaps back down. Let's try and get this under control.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
I don't need my landing gear.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
the engines here a little bit, but I'm just trying to get the speed up a little bit, so let's push the nose down slightly. Do you know, I had an issue earlier where it was kind of acting very, very strange. Now I'm picking up speed, but it's still not picking up speed in the way it should. There's nothing that should be stopping it from picking up speed here. I'm just going to level the nose out a little bit. We'll get this under control. I've never had it do that on a takeoff. Right, so I'm going to put it down for the autopilot here. Now, this is where I can't... I remember this happening a long time ago. Let's see. Okay, I just need to go easy on my stick here and allow the autopilot to kind of control it. So we're okay at the moment. This is just about me not doing a crazy move. I think the problem is that we're coming from so low that the autopilot kind of cacked itself, because now we're fine. So yeah, that was just... At least I caught it though. I'd have been all over the place a couple of years ago with that. I'd have been in somebody's front room watching TV. But luckily we've sorted it. Okay, so we've got Manhattan over there. And here is the Verrazano Bridge. This connects Brooklyn to Staten Island. And just over here you can see... what's its name now? The famous beachfront of Brooklyn. So on board, everything's looking fine now. Engines are pretty much max torque, but that's because we are doing a low flight today. And the reason we're doing a low flight is because we want to kind of see everything. So I'm hoping it's not going to affect the frame rate too much. Yeah, because normally, I'm just thinking there, normally I'd be heading to 13,000 feet when I turn on the autopilot, so I don't think the plane would normally have an issue, but because it's such a low level cruise, I think it shut itself, basically. Not as much as I did. And have we got a tailwind here? That's only 2 knots, that shouldn't have affected us. So, but it wanted to go a little bit crazy there. Okay, so as we made the left turn, here you can see the Verrazano Bridge, and now we're going to fly towards Governor's Island. So this bridge you actually see on the Sopranos, I think it is. I think it's that one you see going through the toll road. Oh, we can see a ship there. I think that's actually the first ship of that type I've seen in the game. That's pretty cool. So he's out and about. I keep doing that, but I should actually do this one. And that one, not that. And this is because I have much more control over this camera. So, here's Brooklyn. And of course down there we can see Her Majesty, the Statue of Liberty. He's got buffering issues. It could be a YouTube issue. I had problems even connecting earlier. So there's old Liberty there. If I do it from the plane, I might be able to zoom in a little bit. So there she is, Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty, where the hell is she? Ah, right down the side. Come on, you bitch. There you go. Now you've seen her. If you've never seen her, you've never seen her. I'm just going to quickly go inside and I'm going to pull back the revs a little bit to slowest cruise, because oh, it's because it's a turboprop, Jess. The plane's fine, it's just it's a turboprop. Okay, Governor's Island. So that's where everybody would have... Oh no, was that the one where everybody's processed? Or is that Ellis Island? I can never remember. I think it was Governor's Island where everybody was processed. Here's where the Staten Island ferry goes out. And now obviously going over the Manhattan Bridge is the first one. No, the Brooklyn Bridge, sorry, is the first one. Manhattan Bridge is the second one. Although it's a bit off colour at the moment. There you go. Now we'll head down the East River, so we'll be able to see the usual suspects here. Ah, you can't hear what I'm saying. I tell you what, you're absolutely right, Jess. I was going to do this before. Because people say that they can not necessarily hear what I'm saying, so let's have a look. So voice I'm going to leave fine. Aircraft engines I'm going to try at 70. Aircraft miscellaneous, I'll leave that. Warnings can go right down because they're really annoying when they go on. In aircraft engine environment, okay, we'll see what the environment is, and then I'll apply and save. See what that's like. Is that any better? I kind of want you to be able to hear me. Oh no, it is a bit too loud. Let me turn this down slightly. Okay, that should be a bit better. Let me know. So definitely gonna get frame rate hits here. Not a lot I can do because we're flying over Manhattan. It's generating God knows how much scenery. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here just so we can see the Empire State Building here. Top of the rock will be here, I do believe. Yeah, so top of the rock is there, just over here. It's actually where that thing's sticking up. Okay, we've got Central Park here. The UN is just down there. UN is... oh, cripes on a stick. Is this big building here? That's the UN. It's obviously Central Park. The Lake of Elledsgar's gonna have kittens when we go past here. We can see Met Stadium. No, we can't. It's a bit too far away. Bit too far away, Met Stadium. But we did a tour of that before, didn't we? Okay, so now we've passed Big Alice as well, and now we're going up what's called the Harlem River. So we're actually going to follow the Harlem River. Does that sound better, Jess? I can knock it down a little bit further. I just don't want to take away all the sound for anybody. In the cockpit it's probably a bit better, but when you're outside... So this is Harlem we're passing over here. Here is Yankee Stadium. We're actually going right over the top of Yankee Stadium here. It's a great rendition of the stadium actually. They did it. It's come up really well. I wasn't expecting it. I flew over the Jet Stadium once, and that was an absolute mess. So. Okay, so now we're joining. This is the Harlem River. And then we will be flying over to the Hudson River. So this is the Hudson River. This is the amazing thing about this. This is Harlem and New York here. And then here we're just flying straight into lush green vegetation. So anybody who lives in New York who says you can't get out to the sticks, look at all of this here. Look at it all. There's no way that you can't get out of New York and go somewhere. It's absolute bollocks. Because you can get here. Where's the? I think the metro line stops somewhere around here. Is the final stop of the metro line, or the furthest stop. Oh, you've got a drone, Alex? No, I mean, actually, that's the second time now I've had a problem and I've managed to catch it. I had another problem where... Oh, what was that? What was that problem? Oh, my... earlier on, all of this froze. And I couldn't tell what flight level I was at, couldn't tell what speed I was doing. This one was working, but this one wasn't. So I knew more or less what I was, but I couldn't see where I was going or anything, and I was actually on an approach to Salt Lake City. But what did I eventually do? I think eventually I turned off the battery, and in reality that would have actually reset everything, I think. But I turned off the battery and turned it back on again, and you know what? It worked. So I don't know if that's an intentional error, but it fixed it, so I wasn't too disappointed. So we're supposed to have seen an outcrop with a train depot. I'm wondering if that's... Ah, no, it's back there. Ah, I missed it. I missed it. Ah, well, not to worry. So you see what I mean? Look at how much green, lush vegetation there is around there. You can't tell me you can't get out here and go for a walk every now and again. Come on. Or does it say New York? Come on! Okay, so as you can see, we are heading towards Croton Bay. And this is where we'll see the train depot. So still getting pretty crap frame rates, but New York is still there, so it'll still be in the memory. It won't have knocked it out yet. Just have a quick check of my VR map, see how far along I am. Oh wow, we're making okay speed here. Been live for 30 minutes, but it took a while to. Only in America. Land of the serial killers. You got more serial killers per capita than any country in the world. Did you know that? More serial killers per capita. Oh, sorry, I can't be asked. You know what I mean. Yes, most of them come in the stream. Yes. Don't think you find many serial killers out here. They'd have to be mad to hang around here. I'm not going to see anybody. Well, there's a lot of houses here. This is actually, it's not here, but this is similar to where Copland was actually filmed back there near Jersey, but it was like one of these towns along the edge of the river that they filmed it in. Oh, that bridge failed. That should be fixed in the American update. So, Jess, which game were you talking about investing in a while ago? Jess came on last time and I can't remember what game he was talking about investing in. Could save your pennies for Odyssey now, haven't you? I've been saving my pennies. I've got a penny jar down here, and I've been saving a little bit a week for the last God knows how many months. So for Cyberpunk. Oh, so I don't know if we've got a land error here. Let's have a quick look. Oh no, that's real. That's done well. Now, somewhere along here is there's a prison, a famous prison. I'm not sure if that's it. Is it Sing Sang? Sang Sang. Sing Song. Swim, Swam, Swum. I know it's somewhere out here. So this is Croton. this is Croton Bay. And this is the train depot, so actually this must be the last stop of the metro line. This must be the last stop if there's a big train depot here. So it shows you how far out of New York you can get actually on the metro line. I never had enough time to get out here, but I would have loved to come somewhere out here. Just to get somewhere very, very different from the city. But yeah. So you can see a huge train depot here. So now we're making the turn and we're off to Tompkins Cove. Now the Hudson is going to narrow here. And this is where... Oh, I can't... this is where Verrazzano, the man who the bridge is named after in Brooklyn, he was an explorer for the Spanish. For the Spanish? I think it was for the Spanish or for the Greek or something. And he was looking for passage to China. When he arrived in the Hudson Bay and came up the Hudson River, he was over the moon because he thought he was getting all the way to China. And then when the river narrowed here, he gave up. Apparently, he went so far through and then gave up. Now we get much better frame rates now we're away from New York, which is good. I'd like to see someone do a reimagining of New York. That might be a bit fresher on the frame rates, because if you're not streaming, the frame rates aren't too bad. But when you're streaming and you're watching, I don't know, you take more notice. Let's see the quarry here on the left-hand side. Nice little quarry here, blue water in it. So we're going to continue north up to Hamilton Bridge. Now it says it should take about 10 minutes to do this, so what we're going to do is we are going to start a timer. And I'm going to start it. Now I don't normally use the timers, and the good thing about this now is when I look down here on my screen, I can actually see the timer here. So this is the time at the moment, and this is the timer. And one of the other things I can actually check is estimated arrival time in Toronto, which it says 8:30. So it's now 6 o'clock. So it's 2.5 hours to arrive in Toronto. So of course it's the trip's a little bit faster than I expected it to be. I could pull back and cruise a little bit more. I mean, we're doing 182 knots. Our ground speed is 191 knots, so it's not much more than the indicated airspeed actually. Well, look at this. I mean, this is, you think we're in this huge city not 5 minutes ago, and now we are in this huge sprawling Greenland full of psychopaths apparently. And I said it to Ellisgar last night, when you're flying over these vast parts of America, and you just see, I don't know, I know that people do, but I always look down and I think, you're not a part of a big city, and do you really feel like a part of something? I don't know how to explain it. But you see how like this tiny little place in the middle of nowhere. And I mean, America is just one of the reasons I love visiting America, and I think I'd probably go to America on holiday again before I chose to go anywhere else. And it's just because I think there's so many states that I still want to see. Every single state I've ever been to is completely different from the last. It's like a different country. So I just want to make sure that we're not going to hit anything as we fly towards these cliffs here, and we're fly towards the Hamilton Bridge. So once we pass the Hamilton Bridge, we will be in the Hudson Valley, actually. I will be leaving the Hudson Valley, actually, and we will be going towards Sydney Municipal, flying past a couple of places. So now again, if you are a member of the Discord, you will be able to get the video, the flight plan to this, and to all my future Discovery. Look at that traffic! The future Discovery flights. It's getting a bit of a frame rate hit here, but it's because of all these trees. Every single one of them is a tree, so game, it can get a bit choppy when you're flying over a tree area. So we're 5.6 nautical miles now. So we're supposed to be there in 9 minutes, and we are currently on minute number 4. I'm guessing it's going to be another minute when we get over. Liking the look of these mountains here. I didn't even know there was mountains here, you know. I really didn't know. I didn't know there was a mountain range here, but you can see them. We might have to change our altitude a bit as we get closer. That's a good thing. One of the good things about actually flying BFR is you can make those decisions to change stuff on the fly. We haven't got to notify anybody or anything that I'm aware of. Let me just check my ATC. Nope. Can literally just fly and then go to nearest airport when we are on our approach to Toronto. And because we won't be landing in a huge airport in Toronto, we should be okay. I don't think it's like that everywhere. You say that about everywhere. There's some big towns here. I wouldn't have minded flying over Syracuse, actually. I probably should have put Syracuse in here. I don't think I did. And, well. Okay, so we are passing the Hamilton Bridge. And we'll be going now towards, well, we'll be coming out of the Hudson Valley now. And then we'll be going towards Crown Heights. Crown Heights sounds like I don't know why, it just sounds like an area of New York. Oh, this looks like a rich area here. Lots of little roads and houses grouped together. Lots of little kind of towns and villages. All wearing masks now. Hey Malcolm, how goes it? Okay, so this must be Hudson Valley Airport. This will be call sign KPOU. So you can see it there. Didn't actually have a look for the old JFK when we were back in New York. Now when you zoom in like this, the graphics look terrible, you know, but you just try not to zoom in. I think when you're out about here, everything looks pretty peachy. I haven't got the best graphics card in the world. So and as a reward, when I finish this stream, I have fish tacos awaiting me, which I made today. Fish tacos. That camera view is pretty good. It is pretty good. I like it. It's strange, but I like it. And I'm gonna try and get a view like above the plane, but not away from it. So I want a view where we can kind of view stuff without the drum of the engine constantly. But I don't want to go so high as to lose visual on anything. So yeah, this is Hudson Valley Regional Airport. I could have stopped off there, but we're not going to. Okay, we're not going to. Hey Jack, how's it going? Oh, you'll have to go watch back and watch the start. It was a comedy of errors, but it always is in this game. Because it saves you settings from the last thing that you've done. And what I sometimes like to do is once I've landed, I like to give Ellidsgar the controls to park the aircraft and stuff, while I have a little bit of a mooch out the windows looking at the airport. And what inevitably happens is, because the co-pilot automatically shuts down the plane when you park up, is it closes down the flight. So then I end up what are we looking at here? Hang on. Okay, so bridge and an inlet. I'm looking for. Okay, we're heading to the town of Kingston now. So this is Crown Heights, this area with a big quarry here. Like I said, it sounds like somewhere that should be in New York. I'm good, thank you, chat, by the way. Just happy to be finished work for the day. I really want a drink, but I've got a coffee at the moment. Might reward myself halfway through the stream, but I don't want to get drunk tonight. Because I'm going to stream tomorrow afternoon as well, doing the round the world flight. South Dakota is going to be your future home state, isn't it a bit cold? Okay, so we're heading up Kingston, and then we're going to depart off to the west, and we should see the Ashicon Reservoir once we make that west turn. So yeah, what I should have done really at the beginning is have a bit of a punt around New York, but you know what, I'd have been there for hours, and I've been telling you all the stories of when I was there, and people would have been falling asleep as usual. It's hard enough keeping you all awake at the best of times, but what is that? That's not Traction Park, is it? No. If you haven't seen the, I think it's Netflix documentary, Class Action Park, I think that's what it's called, go see it. It's absolutely hilarious. It's about a theme park in New Jersey. So yeah, you look at this huge mountain range here, and we're going to be heading that way because we're going to make a turn to the west. So I am probably either going to have to take over the controls at some point just to get it over the mountain range, or I'll do a flight level change. I'm not too sure which one I want to do yet. Oh, they don't? Right, let me just check. Okay, torque's at 60, so we're not, you know, we're just cruising along here, really. Everything looks good here. Oh, flaps are still on takeoff, you idiot. I'm sure I'd put them up. Right, okay. No wonder we were kind of... I was wondering why we were holding speed so well, so I'm going to have to pull back a little bit now. Because otherwise we're going to pick up speed, and I don't want to pick up too much speed. So let me just get myself a little bit more set here. What we want is these numbers to kind of just sit there like that. We don't want it going up too much, we don't want it going down. We definitely don't want it going down. It's okay if it kind of goes up a little bit. Where is my speed? Oh, it's in the wrong section. Should have changed this around, really. So, we'll go that one. Okay, yeah, this is better. There's Airhaven Airport, as you can see. This is really beautiful here. And we're not even in the north part of New York. No, I think what I was trying to put into words earlier is I know there'll be people kind of, for example, living up here in Kingston. There'll be people living up here who've kind of never been to New York. They consider it too far away, and although it actually is quite a drive from here, and I don't know. I've seen it here where people who haven't been down to Barcelona or whatever. And I always find that quite interesting that you have people kind of live in a place and they don't really go out anywhere. Whereas I'm very much an explorer, even if I don't know where I'm going all the time. Hence why Alesgar was left with Nam flashbacks after we met up in New York. So this is really nice, this area. It's probably an expensive place to live. Should have flown out over the Hamptons, actually. Most expensive piece of real estate. Kingston Ulster, there. As you can see, we're going to make a right turn here. There you can see the plane's already started making it now. And there's the Ashokan Reservoir, which is where we're going towards. Okay, now I am a little bit concerned with these mountains because I don't have we're going to have the reservoir kind of on our right as we go out. And then we're going to go through a valley. So I think I might have to take over when we get to that point because I don't know if the... oh, we got a school stadium down there, look at that. Yep, school stadium down there. What's that? You're not going to watch the latest cultural teachings for make benefit. Stand number 2. He's not from Kazakhstan, is he? Oh yeah, he is. He is. He is from He isn't from Kazakhstan. I'm not a big fan of him, to be honest. Kind of used to be a long time ago. Strip in the Woods. That's a good name. I don't watch any Sacha Baron Cohen movies anymore. There's a couple of English people who I used to watch when they first came out, but I've never really watched them since then. Because didn't we have Borat on a TV show before the movies? Well, I'm sure we had him on a TV show before the movies. I'm sure of it. Okay, so just checking the torque. See how we're picking up a bit of speed here? We haven't picked up a ton of speed. We're like two knots. So it's not the be all and end all. I can actually stop my timer now because it's been running forever. I only wanted it for that one part. And I never paid attention to it again. So okay. So the Ashokan Reservoir, 7.5 nautical miles away. Oh, look at this. This is a beautiful area, this. And these mountains. Of course he did. Of course he did. I wish you had. My feet were killing that day. Is it really that long? And I never got over the fact that he was the one who got to marry Isla Fisher. I know it was never going to happen, but I had aspirations. You know, you just can't forgive some people. Also, there must be some type of dam here. It's not really showing it very well, but there must be some type of dam because you can see where it dips there. So, okay, so let's quick look at the VFR map, see what it wants us to do, because I'm definitely going to have to take over some of this. Yeah. So I'm going to take over control of the plane in a moment. Before we smash headlong into these mountains in front of us here, I'm going to take over, and I'm going to have to keep my VFR map open. Oh, I can't see. Enable preview. Okay, you can't see the VFR map. You also can't see my heading, I've just noticed. But, sod it. There's not much I can do about that for the moment, because I really need to concentrate on this. Okay. But you can't see my VFR map, which I didn't want you to, because you've already got a map, so it didn't really need to go to GPS tracking. Okay, it might make the turn slightly itself, but I don't know if it will, so I'm going to take off the... Yeah, it's not going to, so I'm going to take off the autopilot, and I'm going to make a turn. I want to try and do some of this outside of the plane, so you get a good view of it. And then I'll just reconnect the. Whoops! See, I'm gaining. Let me just try and get it a little bit level because I'm gaining altitude, and I don't want to gain altitude. Oh, another school stadium down there. So we're going to follow this river. I don't actually know where. Yeah, we're going to track this valley. This valley is called Shandaken Valley. These types of mountainous areas are just, they're so nice. If you've got any mountainous area around you like this, get on Wikiloc and look up some routes. Just be very careful in the winter, that's all. Okay, so at least the water works in this valley. It's not like the valleys near my house in the game, where it doesn't seem to represent them very well. They seem to be all over the place, but here the river looks good. It seems to be following the roads, not dipping into them. So these are the Catskills Mountains, just so you know. You should see a Y-shaped fork in the road as we arrive to Shandaken. It's pretty cool. I've gained about 300 feet, but I'm losing it a little bit now. I'm not the greatest level pilot. In this, when you're in this outside view, it's actually really hard to kind of pilot it in a soft way. And my guess is we're going to keep, when it splits at Shandaken, we're going to take a left. Okay, again, yeah, we're heading to Big Indian. Again, we're gonna have to do that because no, what was I going to say there? Again, we're seeing some kind of frame rate drop. That's simply just all of these trees. This is a crazy amount of trees here, and look at how green everything is here. So Big Indian, and then we'll be going to Fleischmann's. So we're at 6,500 feet. You sure? I don't think we're at 6,500 feet. Now here is where I have to make a big decision. So this mountain is Big Indian, okay, 6,500 feet, okay, now I get it. So now we're gonna go to, we're gonna take a right. And I actually see on that mountain that there's a little bit of snow, obviously from the photo. Woof, that's a big turn. But we had to make it hard because that mountain was right in front of us there. I'm not going to get too low because I don't want to be ground running. Well, there might be money in it these days. Not gaining too much altitude here. I do need to gain a little bit of altitude, but we're going to lose it when we need to set it. So, Fleischmann's. And that's the name of the village here. What a strange name for a village. Wonder where that word came from. Didn't come from Spain. So 3,300 here. So as we make this turn, I'm just going to go back inside and I'm going to set a new altitude here. And we are going to go for 3,000, 4,000. We're going to go for 4,000. We're going to go flight level change and set the autopilot. Okay, so hopefully it's going to make a flight level change here for us. Yep, okay. That's good. So I don't often use the flight level change, but it works well enough. So just give us a little bit more height. Let me check my notes here. After Margaretville, we'll be heading to a place called Downsville. Now the reason I've just... Ooh, is that from the photo? I thought that was a real-time cloud there, but then I realised I've put it for clear skies. Because it'd be pointless doing a Discovery series with terrible weather. Evening, Brian. That's strange. Brian's showing on my YouTube, but he's not showing on my restream. That is strange. And Jess's second message is not showing on my restream, on my YouTube either. Whoops. There we go. So I don't know what happened there. Do a quick test. Test. The Yamix leak video? What leaks? You just had a load of onions on the screen. Honestly, I haven't watched Yamix in so long. I just didn't like that he was moaning about Elite too much, because, you know, just stop playing it. Same as people who do Division videos moaning all the time. I'm just like, well, we're not going to get what you want, so what's the point in just moaning all the time? Well, I understand why the creators do it. You either hate everything or like my favourite foodie, Mark Weens. You love everything. That's YouTube. This area is absolutely beautiful. Very much similar to where I live. Very, very similar. Very similar. Apart from these rivers are huge. So now I have to have chat and two screens. I have to have my Restream chat open, and then I have to have the YouTube one specifically, because sometimes Restream doesn't pick up some of the messages from YouTube. So now it's picking up Brian, but it didn't pick up his first one. And I have a problem. That's where Restream has an issue. Is when somebody makes the first message, it doesn't pick up on it, and I don't know why. It makes no sense not to. I don't think I have any filter set that makes no. I don't have a filter set or anything. I don't know what it is that it does. If you're enjoying the video, people, do leave a like, please. And if you haven't already subscribed to the stream, feel free to do so. As I said, with this Discovery series, after every one, the flight plan will be put on Discord. So The flight plan will be put on Discord, and you can fly it at your leisure if you so wish. So we're heading to Downsville. And we should see, this is actually a reservoir here. This is a Pepcaton reservoir. So it's not actually a river. And the most western point of this reservoir, we will find the town of Downsville, sorry. So we're flying this route pretty darn quickly here. We are about a third of the way there already, maybe even longer actually. Didn't think it was longer. It looks like we're definitely about a third of the way there. So that's less than an hour. So it's going to be 3 hours. So we might have to do something else in the stream if we finish it that fast. Might do an Area 51 run. Now I am also probably going to have a third series coming at some point where I'll do passenger runs and stuff, but that'll be very here and there. It won't be a consistent series. But I do plan on, as soon as they release anything that touches on kind of running passengers and stuff, I'll definitely be looking at that. Okay, so this is Downsville here, and then we're going to turn towards Walton now. The only thing about data dumps is sometimes the data dumps is crap that's left behind, and knowing FDev, there's probably a shed load of crap that they've left behind in their game. So, Walton. Walton is a mid-tide sized town with a bridge, sports ground and 2 large 8-shaped buildings. We'll have to have a look at that. So you can see now the trees and the vegetation here are getting a bit too haggard because, well, it is autumn. We are hitting autumn. It might have got browner here earlier. But these types of places where you probably get a lot of snow a lot of the year, you end up with this kind of brown colour for some of the the only thing I know about the new Odyssey update that I thought was interesting is that if you're playing it in Space Legs, that some of the missions will pay just as much as if you're in a ship. So they're definitely trying to make it much more planet side based at the moment, which can be a bit strange. So it's going to be like Elite within Elite. The introduction of new engineers. Wah, wah. No. No, 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 no. You could have added stuff to the old engineers or whatever, but I'm guessing it's because the new engineers, you'll be able to go there on foot. So, I don't know. I don't know. I've said I'm not even getting... I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm not getting excited about Odyssey until I see it fully up and running and working correctly. I'm not getting involved in any hype because I think I've given FDev far too much time. Not so I won't play the game again at some point, because I was itching to play it the other day actually. I was watching, I was watching Malcolm. Well, it could have only been Malcolm. I don't watch anybody else play Elite, so. And I was thinking, no, I might jump in it one day, but just not at the moment. Work is crazy at the moment. Okay, so here's Walton with its 8-shaped buildings. Can you see the 8-shaped buildings? I can see the school field down there, school stadium. Can't see the 8-shaped building. It said there was 2. That could be an H. Looks more like an F to me. Okie dokie, off we go ski. Yeah, well, they probably massage your feet or something and give you bionic feet, I don't know. Okay, so we are heading towards Trout Creek now. So there's going to be a Y-shaped valley here. It's flattening out a bit now, actually. We've moved away from the Catskill Mountains, which is a shame. Bionic space legs. And then we will fly northwest, and we will be passing Sydney Municipal Airport, which means, and then we'll be heading to Bainbridge. Yep, Bainbridge. So get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. Now, I'm doing this in this airplane simply for time's sake, but if you were to do it, I would say to do it in a Cessna and have a really good look around. You can even turn your autopilot off, or even actually just fly the plan as you see fit, GPS style, and don't even need to use an autopilot. So you can go off track and whatnot. These markers will always be there for you to join back to, even if you turn around and do something else. But once you pass over it, it switches to the next one. But as I was saying before, we've flown over all of this space and all these places and all these farms and all these towns. You really start to get an idea of how big a country is. I mean, you just, I don't know, I don't often think about it. You know the major places, and you know there's villages, you know the smaller places around, but you concentrate like on the major places. You know, if I was somebody to say what towns are between Barcelona and here, I would be thinking of the 4 biggest, and I wouldn't name any of the other places. But especially here, you just realise how many inhabitants of a country there actually is, and how little control government have. When you see land mass to population to how many police and army there are. But I don't know, they've managed to keep people under control for years. I'm not saying you should fight back or anything. What's your problem, Brian? With my flying? You could play it if it wasn't for my flying. No, not if you're doing VFR and you're under certain GPS VFR and you're under certain height. I think it's 12,000 feet in America, 8,000 feet in Europe, and the rest of the world, I think. No, you don't need to file a flight plan. Only if you're going over 12,000 feet, if I remember right. I'm not great with all those numbers, but I'm pretty sure that's roughly what it is. That's why that prop plane was able to crash in New York the other year, if you remember. There you go, Sydney Municipal, so we're heading to Bainbridge now. There's no violence. Well, there could be, Brian, there could be. There was actually a guy who recently made a mod to put the World Trade Center back into New York, but he refuses to release it because, of course, you can imagine what some people would be doing. So he refused to release it, but his mod looked absolutely beautiful. But speaking of violence, I think that's what would happen. But yeah, it is more tranquil, as they say. But you know, this is just a part of America. You'll see in some of the other Discovery series how different And if we finish this one early, we'll head up to we'll head to Area 51. See if we can't spot ourselves a UFO. Okay, so Afton. So you see, there's a huge highway here just below me. Huge. One of those American highways with a big grass verge in the middle, so that anybody who crashes over it has space to stop, I think. Well, at the moment it has very few add-ons. I mean, I say few, there's tons of mods. Edinburgh, which I'll do one day in the Discovery trip. In fact, I'll do a Scottish one. And, you know, the mods for Edinburgh are outstanding. And there's some mods for Glasgow as well. But I think there's enough mods to keep it going, but the people definitely need to make some apps to kind of get, you know, passengers and stuff. You'll know that I don't know if it was Obsidian Ant or I think it was Rusty Dog, who he's been doing a passenger one, but he's using a website which I don't agree with, because you have to pay weekly or monthly to use the website, and I'm not doing that. I had a passenger application for Microsoft Flight Simulator X, and it was fantastic. It really was. I absolutely loved it. It simulated everything about the passenger thing, and if you made mistakes on landing and stuff, you scared the passengers and they might not fly with you again in the future. If you get there on time constantly, they tend to book more in the future. It was just a really good addition. And it gave you stuff to work towards. So when they say make your own story, and look at this, it's beautiful. So when they say make your own story in Elite, I mean, it's absolutely the case in this. Well, not even Easter. They used to have an Easter egg actually when you flew to Area 51, I think. But you can put things in this game now. So you can get a Godzilla that's attacking San Francisco Bay. It doesn't move, I don't think. It's just there. You can get a Star Destroyer from I think it's called a Star Destroyer from Star Wars to hang over New York, stuff like that. I mean, there's just people working all the time getting mods out, and it's quite frankly, it's astounding. I knew the modding community would be strong for this game, but I didn't realise how strong it would be, because what we seem to have now in this community is a whole load of young people, very young people in fact, who know how to use Photoshop and stuff, so they're able to just come in and mod things much faster. I mean, somebody's taken the whole city of York and put it in the game. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy for modding's sake. I love how you can see traffic down there on the roads, and it is moving. All the traffic's moving. It's pretty cool when you get down there. I mean, the resolution down there is pretty dire, but the cars, you can see them kind of go, and they do make car sounds. I don't know why they added that to the game. I'm guessing it's because they knew you'd be using your drone camera or whatever. Okay, so we're off to Chanagao Bridge. Chanagao Bridge? Yes. And then we're going to go south. We're going to follow this river south. Yeah, somebody will probably do that, Jess. It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. Somebody did an upgrade for Washington DC, because Washington DC was just sad before. It really was. I can't believe that Asobo missed so much of Washington. It's like they didn't even try. Well, they didn't try. The White House looked like a block of flats. people were joking, saying, "Well, maybe Trump renovated it so he could flog it on." But and then somebody did some buildings for it, and now it looks pretty good. That's the free version. There is a paid version, which looks very, very good. Somebody's put in all the main buildings. The strange thing about Washington is none of the main buildings in the centre were there, but the Pentagon was. So I don't know if that was an issue on Asobo's side, or they were holding back until they do the US update. But they've got the US update must come out in chunks. And I was just telling Elzgar the other night, the best mod for the game at the moment is Devil's Tower in Wyoming, seen from Close Encounters, which actually I might load that one up once we finish this, because the person who did that work did a very, very, very good job of it, and for it to be free, I was hoping that person would work more on Wyoming as well, because there's other things in Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, which, you know, could be put into the game. But I don't know if they've done any more, but their rendition of it was outstanding. So we're heading down to Binghamton. So this is a big city, well, big-ish, considering what we've flown over so far. I don't know if it's a city or a town. And then we'll be flying past Tri-Cities Airport. I'm just trying to see where that would be on my KCZG. I'm guessing that KCZG, yeah. KCZG. So that's further down the river. So we're kind of snaked down. Which mod, Jess? Which mod are you talking about? The Independence Day one? Oh, baseball stadium. Small team. Maybe that's an MLB feeder team. It could be a university one, actually. It's a pretty big town. It's probably about the size of my town, I think. Now we are miles and miles and miles away from New York, and in actual fact I would say we're maybe halfway to our destination. In 10-15 minutes we'll be halfway to our destination. So what time did I start streaming? 7:30, 8:30, 9, so an hour and a half in. Probably an hour and a half more. So we might end up hitting the time that I thought, because I'm going to have to land as well, of course. The Close Encounters one. I don't know if you can see it on YouTube, but in game it looks spectacular. I mean, they've just done such a good job of it. It's not the UFO's not there, but the Devil's Tower is there, and it looks outstanding. So I've got that mod. It was one of I think it was the first mod that I injected into the game. I injected that one, and then I put my own town. I say injected, didn't even have to inject it actually. All the mods for this are drag and drop. No fiddling or anything. The game just recognises them. I don't know how, because I'm not good at modding myself. Not since the days of original Ghost Recon. So I mean, you can see this is quite a sprawling area, because look at this off ramp from the freeway. Trump must have banned it after TikTok. Hang on a second. Give us a second, Jess. There you go. Knock yourself out. And if you look on that website, actually, you'll just see how many mods there are. It's craziness. Absolute craziness. How many mods there are available for it. But it's an absolutely beautiful mod. I love it. And the guy who did it at really high resolution, cleared out some of the trees where there shouldn't be trees. It was outstanding. And if this guy does a lot more, I'll be happy. But I think this website, I can't remember if it was this website or a different one that's been pinching people's things, so I don't know. One of these websites recently, everybody's been moaning because they're stealing stuff and not giving props, or not asking for permission, actually. Oh no, there's no ship over it. No. That would be pretty cool if they put a ship in it, I suppose. What? The thing is, I think actually to get that ship would be quite difficult, and I'll tell you why. I don't think that's ever appeared in a game or anything where you could pull it from. You'd have to design it from scratch, which I don't think is going to happen. Just trying to see if this guy's done any other stuff, but doesn't look like he has so far. Oh yes, he's been working on Yosemite Valley, and he did a really good job. A really good job. Yeah, so he's done a freeware Yosemite, and that is really nice as well. Really worked hard on it, and I've got that one downloaded for the future at some point. Because he did a great job of El Capitan, the rivers in between, Half Dome. It just looks spectacular. So, and the one good thing about his mods as well is that he makes them so that they don't have a huge frame rate hit, which is good. Hooper's Valley. So there is a racetrack and a casino resort here in Hooper's Valley. We'll probably use the drone to have a little bit of a look at that as we go over. Just want to try and see where it is. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I can do barrel rolls without doing barrel rolls. Do a barrel roll for the viewers in Australia. Never gets old, does it? Right, okay, so I can see the racetrack from here. There's also a casino. Oh, we're going to pass Watkins Glen as well. Forgot about that. The racetrack made me think about it there. So there's a racetrack, and then next to it there is a casino. Get back on the restream chat. Okay, so we can see the racetrack there, and I would really like to see Watkins Glen and how it looks actually. Okay, so I can see the racetrack, that's easy to spot, but let's have a look. Sometimes it's easy to do this. Oh, this must be the casino here, but unfortunately it hasn't rendered in any buildings, or the AI hasn't put in any buildings. It's a shame. When we get to Toronto, I'm actually flying through a modded version of Toronto. Sorry, somebody's been working very, very hard on Toronto, releasing a lot of stuff for it. So we're now going to Chamung. Niagara Falls as well is a modded version of Niagara Falls when we get there. I'll probably disengage the autopilot and try and fly a bit around Niagara Falls, like I probably should have done in New York and stuff, but it'll be okay. So, Chimon. So, you can see the river's got a strange colour here, just down here. It's a bit weird. Seems to change colour slightly there as well, but I don't know if that's just the game. There seems to be some big pond over there. Lots of small houses, which unfortunately the game hasn't rendered. Now the AI that does all the houses and everything, it will get better in the future. It's just it can't create it on as well as it can on low level. So as each country gets upgraded, all of this is going to upgrade. Now it's AI generated, but when you go to some of the countries where it's AI generated, it is crazy good. The White House wearing a mask. He's done a version of Washington DC. I didn't see that. I'll have to look through. I've been working so hard this week. I haven't looked at anything really. Even Toronto and Niagara Falls I downloaded just last minute today, just to make sure I had them. So this is Chamung. Oh yeah, you can see this light blue water here. This is I don't know if it's a lake or a quarry, isn't it? Yeah, it would be a quarry that. When you get water that colour, definitely a quarry. So we'll be making a turn to the north now, towards Elmira town. We're currently heading west, as you can see on the map up there. But I'll check out is Washington DC, because the version I've got is good, but it's not great. Or do you mean that whole thing is a joke? Like your current political system. Has anybody seen that video of Nancy Pelosi having a mental breakdown halfway through? Where she's just grinning at the camera going, "Good morning, Sunday morning." You really need to keep geriatrics out of your politics. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't let my granddad run the country. People say Trump's a racist, but when you put an 8-year-old in charge, we're expecting. And then you've got old touchy-feely Biden, who normally those type of people at the party, at the family party, they get taken home early. He needs his nap. Oh my God. Mike Pence, who looks like a mannequin Ken doll. What is the deal with that hair? Looks like he rents it off G.I. Joe. And you got Kamala Harris. Looks like a wrestler from the 60s. Who looks like, ironically, looks like she could be the most dangerous thing to the black community, the way she's been treating them over the years. Oh, don't get into politics, Swifty. Go and buy a track record. Wasn't Kamala a wrestler from the 80s? He was, wasn't he, Kamala? The Ugandan giant, I think they called him. He died, might have been this year, actually. Might have been this year. Don't forget to leave a like, people. Let's ask the fly. Well, I'm supposing the fly got stuck to his head. Because if he rented that hair off G.I. Joe, you need to get it stuck down with super glue, don't you? Oh, no, this is a really big town here. I didn't realise it was that big. Where are we heading now? This is Elmira town here. And this is the largest city of Chemung County. So it's got 4 bridges crossing the river, as you can see. 5 bridges, sorry, but 4 bridges in close proximity. It's actually flickering the frame rates a little bit here. And then we'll be passing Elmira Airport, because it has its own airport. And then we'll be turning, let's have a look, north now, in a moment. We're kind of making a slight northern turn anyway, but we'll be turning. Oh no, we're kind of going north now. You can see it. Oh, you can't see it, can you? Because my face is in the way. Take it. And the conspiracy is that they're just trying to get Biden in, because by December he'll be put in a home anyway, so they'll finally get the first female president, which I would love to see a female president in the United States, but I don't know if it's Kamala Harris. She's the only one standing in the middle of Compton shouting, "Lock them up! Lock them up!" But she sent so many African Americans to jail, that woman. Right, okay, so this is the airport, yep. This is Elmira Airport. So quite a big airport. We could have had a touch and go landing here. Huge runway. It's got 2, but the main one's huge. We're heading, okay, now we're heading west to Corning. Corning. Okay, but before we arrive in Corning, we're gonna go north. Shut up, not your country. And I can't believe you're not advocating geriatrics running the country, are you? Just ban him. This is lovely here. I really like this area. This is so cool. I'm definitely going to return here off stream. Love to do some Cessna runs around here once I get used to the Cessna. I'm trying to do 100 hours in this plane before I jump to anything else. Because with this plane now I feel really comfortable. I mean truly comfortable. As comfortable as it did when I originally started flying in the Acon A5. Because the Acon, you can't really make mistakes. And so where we're heading now, we're going to head to Watkins Glen. So we're going to make a turn towards Watkins Glen racetrack. So it's going to be quite a hard turn here, actually. Just check my my speed and engines is fine. People can say what they want here, don't have to agree with me or anybody else. Apart from I know that I'm always right, because it's my YouTube channel. Right, is that a train track down there? It certainly is. Looks like a logging train track actually. With this much forest, it would not surprise me at all. So we are heading over Watkins Glen. Oh. Sure, I just saw. lightning outside. You know what? You know what? You know what? My coffee's just finished and I think I'm going to grab a beer. Beersky. Beersky. I'll just be about 2 minutes, people. Just need to pop the cap off one and I might pour myself a whiskey as well, even though I'm not supposed to be drinking. 2 minutes, people. Bloody cat nicking me spot there. Yes, you can pause it mid-flight. It causes problems if you are using the autopilot co-pilot, but it doesn't seem to cause problems if you are just doing it yourself, especially if you are at cruise. If you're at cruise altitude, it seems to be Right, this is beautiful, this area. Lush green. And you, as I say, you live and learn. I knew that there was a racetrack I put in here, but I couldn't remember Watkins Glen. But it is, so I'm going to put that whiskey there, because it's just a smidgen of a whiskey, not a big one. So, now Watkins Glen hosts NASCAR, GT, and they actually, I don't know if they held it last year. They had IndyCar, I think, last year, which is the American version of Formula 1, just with slower, less powerful cars and pretty shitty chassis, unfortunately. But it's, everything in America is a franchise, so you can't have it in the way you can't have it in the way you can in other sports, so because everything's done in a franchised way. So it normally has closer racing. You still generally have one guy who dominates, because generally it's the guy who gets his car set up well. There's the first day I got this chair, there was holes in it. He scratched it. I was gonna fucking launch him out the window. But what can you do? Okay, so I'm going to try and go outside to the thingamajig now, so we get a decent view of Watkins Glen. There you go. There's Watkins Glen. Just below, you can see the paddock area, and then you can see the track. That is pretty cool. I should do like a series of flying on tracks of the world, because myself and Elsgar past Daytona Beach today. Was it Daytona Beach we passed, or were we just talking about Daytona Beach? That's pretty cool, seeing the whole of Watkins Glen from up here. Oh, you can see my plane down there. That's pretty cool. You gotta say that's good. So there's Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen? Why do I keep saying Watkins? I think the beer's going to my head already. Well, I didn't know what else to call it, Brian. But I mean, I actually like IndyCar. I don't love it, and I prefer to only watch it on the oval tracks because most of them are pretty bad track races. When you see the lines that they take through corners and stuff, and the crashes. Okay, so we're getting pretty far on, people, in this stream, and we are really not far off Toronto now. Considering we've been 2 hours, and well, less than 2 hours, and I think I've only been at flight for an hour or so. Can't be much more than that. So we're really cutting through this. Yeah, we're really cutting through this. I didn't particularly want to cut through it fast. I'm gonna have to rethink it when I go through another route, because there's a lot of things I want to look at. So I think we're gonna have to find out. I'll have to find out what the minimum cruise speed is for this plane, because you take the torque down too much, and you're gonna end up losing speed. You won't be able to maintain it, and that's a big problem when you can't maintain it, because you need that kind of that bit where you can keep it going and not have to keep messing around with the throttle. Because if you're keeping messing around with the throttle, you can't be looking out the window too much like this. This is just amazing. And we'll be heading up to one of the Great Lakes. I don't know the name of it. But we'll be heading up to one of the Great Lakes. We should be heading up to us. Where are we? We are Watkins Glen, so we're quite a long way from, still a long way from Niagara Falls. Now, when you're in New York, people say, oh, if you're visiting New York, you should visit Niagara Falls. Like, I think I'll take a bus. I couldn't imagine driving here by car. It'd take forever. It's got to take a day to get here by car. Maybe you can get a Greyhound or something. America doesn't have high-speed trains because they don't have a tax program in most states, so they don't pay high taxes, Alaska, so they don't have high-speed rail over there. They really don't. I mean, they have a lot of airplanes, so you get like Southwest and stuff. But I've always wanted to do a train trip across America. There is an Amtrak one you can do. I aspire to do it one day, but it's expensive and it's not great, as in quality, but, you know. Are you talking about Watkins Glen, Jess? I like yeah, Watkins Glen. I've forgotten the name of it now. The one by the beach near LA. That they do at LA. I've always liked that one as well. Long Beach. Quite like when they race at Long Beach as well. Used to do a couple of F1 races in the USA in the past. I mean, I know they do now. But they actually did a couple of really good F1 races in the past. But they all kind of failed. The only bad one that they did in the US was, well, there was two. The F1 version of Indianapolis, which was ridiculously crap. Used part of the Indy track and then part of the infield, and then a terrible one they basically did in a car park in Las Vegas in the 80s. I think it was in the 80s, like 83, 84 or something. Long time ago. So we are heading towards Geneva. We're 16 nautical miles away from Geneva. That'll finish this part of the leg. We're not landing or anything. We'll keep going. But this one here this is not a river actually. I don't think this one. I think this is a lake, Lake Seneca. It's called. Didn't realise that. We're tracking Lake Seneca. But I don't know what constitutes exactly a lake and what doesn't. Because of course this is part of the river that runs all the way from New York. That's why we're kind of following it on and off. Penyan over there. You can see this is some serious farmland here. You see all the different colours from the crops. Pretty damn good. I'm enjoying this. There's Seneca Air Force Base over there. And this is Lake Seneca here. So I'm just going to go back inside, have a quick look at my modules and stuff, just make sure everything seems like it's working correctly. Not seeing anything in the CAS or anything, so... Yep, seems like everything's running fine, which is good for once. Takeoff was pretty hairy, but I'll keep it in mind in future. I don't think when we took off from the other day in Florida, Alaska, I don't think I had a problem then, did I? I don't know what the issue was there. I did take off with trying not to torque the engines too much. This is why I was saying I hope they bring in the new TBM. Even as payware, I might buy it if they do, because the new TBM has takeoff mode, which puts it at precisely 100 torque, so it won't over torque the engines, no matter what the pilot actually puts the power at. So you kind of click a button for takeoff mode. I think it's on the kind of on the throttle quadrant, and push it forward a little bit, and it takes off. And then once you're at your desired altitude, you then click it off, and it will pull the speed back. Which all of this is kind of automation, but it just makes sure that you can take off cleanly. And I think at the end of the day, this is actually good for piloting in general, not just in the simulation. Piloting in general, it's making it much more safer. Also, it has an auto land facility, which I've seen in use on one plane. It's crazy. Like, it will totally land the plane all on its own. And you know what? It's pretty damn good if that's the future of flying, because it means that certain people who are maybe not so intelligent as to be able to do the mathematics and everything of flight, those people will still be able to take an airplane or buy an airplane, because it'll be like driving a car. Yeah, but it's got a nice the views and everything of it. That's why I like it, Jess. Yeah, the actual streets itself, the hairpin's pretty good, because the hairpin always has a crash nearly every lap to bring the safety car out. I forgot the name of the one that has the chicane coming down the hill as well. That one I like. Can't remember if it's Road America, but I think Watkins Glen might be Road America. I mix up some of the names sometimes. Oh, I just saw another flash of lightning. Have we got our summer lightning here? It's not even summer, but we haven't had summer lightning this year. It might be now. We get this really strange phenomenon here, where you see lightning, but there's no rain. It's just the... He says it's just a big bang. I'm full of shit. No, there's no rain, there's normally no thunder, you just see the sky lighting up. And I just put my smoker out the other day. Luckily I've got a cover for it. So I built a smoker the other day, and tomorrow I think I'm going to go try and find some cheese. That's good for smoking. Start smoking it up. Okay, so we are heading to Grammar now. Let me see where Grammar is. No, not Grammar. Grammar is not our waypoint. So we've gone past Geneva, that was at the back. That must be an airport, Canagawea. I'm suspecting Canagawea is this airport here, 13 nautical miles. It's not that one, that's it's quite a long airport, that one. It's a green airport, so it's a strip, but that is long. So McBride's there, so yeah, this must be it. So yeah, we went up the Seneca, Lake Seneca, and right to the top of it there. And then apparently we're going to follow a toll road as we get further up here. Do you see what I mean when I'm talking about the vastness of a country? Yeah, I mean, you see everything we've flown over. It's all, and it's only New York State, only. I don't know, it blows my mind when you see it. It really does. I've always enjoyed I've always really enjoyed flying in reality at night, when you look down and you can see all the lights of every single city that you pass, and even the smallest towns. You just realise how small everything is. My prez. Not my president! What a load of shite. See, this is the thing. You either have to believe in democracy or you don't. You can't just say, not my president, unless he tries to stay in power if he loses it in November. Alright, Elliot's Jess 97, enjoy yourself. I'm sorry you couldn't see the end of it, but you know, you always manage to miss the best bits. There are no best bits. Nice to see you though. Okay, so yeah, this must be it. So we are what? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. 110 nautical miles from Niagara Falls here. We're heading towards Youngstown actually. We will be. The part I'm looking forward to is we are going to be straddling Lake Ontario, but on the US side, and that's the part I'm really looking forward to. We'll straddle the side of it for a while. We'll come back inland to do a little bit. I think that's when we go to Niagara Falls. But I'm really interested in seeing how big Lake Ontario is. Now, we are at pretty low level, so I can't say that we're going to get the best view. I think it'll be better viewed at 30-odd thousand feet. I love this plane. It's absolutely beautiful. It really is. When I first saw this plane, when I first flew this plane, I hated it with a passion. But now I know it inside out, I absolutely love it. By far and away the best plane. There's some other jets actually, small jets, and one of the turboprop that I've been looking at on YouTube. Really into this now. God, if I had the money, I'd be flying one of them. Like I said, they're just so easy to fly now that it's not what it used to be. And the thing is that when you get into something like an A320, in theory should be easy to fly because it's the same flight model and everything, it's just on a bigger scale. But it should be as easy to fly because you've got so many people on board. But those things are some of them are ridiculously complicated because the companies don't want to change the systems inside. but you'd probably be able to get... Okay, intersection. Okay, so we're gonna go north here. Well, it's northwest north. You see this highway down here? We're gonna follow this highway almost. And I'm sure this is Lake Ontario here. So I think we're gonna be so low we're not even gonna see the other side. But if we were at like 31,000 feet, we would see the other side. No problem. As I said, when we get to Niagara Falls, we're gonna free fly that. We're gonna do a bit of acrobatics. Hopefully I won't crash. Nice big golf course down there. Looks like an 18-holer. Yep, looks like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, it must be 18. I just missed. So it was quite hard to count going over at that speed. Okay, this is Lake Lacoma. We're coming up on here. We're going to follow the 490 to Lake Lacoma. There should be, oh yeah, we can see here there's a shopping mall down here. Huge shopping mall. And here too. It all looks like shopping areas. This is huge. Look at the parking all around that. America. Well, yeah. Did everybody see the Simpson, not the Simpsons, the South Park quarantine episode the other day? So here we see Lake Ontario, huge. We can't even see the other side from here. It's ridiculous. And then we're going to head up to a quarry up here, so we should get a good view of that. Let's see how it's dug that out. So as we come along Lake Ontario, I am going to have a look at bringing it down a little bit. Let's I'm going to try and just slow the plane down as we make the turn to Niagara Falls, because I really want to see that. Drinking Canadian Club this week. Canadian Club whiskey. Not really my favourite, but it's not bad. It really isn't bad. It's not even Canadian. It's made in Scotland. And I just don't know what they do, but it's made in Scotland. Pardon me, was not me. So yeah, I mean, look at Lake Ontario, it's huge, huge. So we're going to pass over this quarry, we're going to go towards the harbour. You can see the inlet here, so this must be amazing for people with a lot of money who are kind of jet skiing and all the like up and down here. Really good fun. This Discovery series is also going to consider doing some kind of movie set locations, or movie locations. Oh, it's a huge quarry. Actually, it looks pretty well. I don't know if it's the photo. Yeah, it's the photo. But it really does look as though there's elevation in it. It does a good job of that. Loving the houses down here and everything. Great stuff. Now when we cross over into Canada, oh Canada, be on the lookout for that maple syrup. Do you know they have like a national vat of maple syrup? No word of a lie. And a couple of years ago there was a huge thing there because loads of the maple syrup had gone missing and replaced with fake maple syrup. It's absolutely true, I tell you. So we might be able to come down a little bit here because we're almost at sea level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back down to 3 and we'll do a flight level change to come down to 3. Wait. 10, flight level change. I'm hoping the flight level change takes effect. Come on. Dip that nose. Dip that nose. It sometimes, for some reason, it takes just a second for the flight level change to take effect. Okay, there you go. So now it's kicking in. I don't know why it does that. You always seem to have to either make a change in the if you're going down, you have to pull back a little bit on the throttle. If you're going up, you have to push the throttle up a bit. But look at the size of this. Look at it. You can't even see the other side here. It's a lake, people. It's a lake. It's a lake! It's almost as big as the Med. I'm pretty sure it's as big as the Med between Spain and Italy. Maybe not the whole size of the Med, but pretty darn large. Go down to 500. Not much point, Brian, because there's a trade-off. Otherwise, I would. If I could do 1,000, I'd probably do 1,000. The trade-off is as you get too low, all of this, it doesn't look as good. So you've got to try and kind of find what the right level is. And I think 3,000 is a good level. But you have to be really careful, and you have to try and adjust accordingly, because 3,000 feet in Utah is very different from 3,000 feet outside of Utah. So 3,000 feet in Utah, you're skimming the top of the houses. So yeah, you have to kind of know a little bit about that. Bing Maps. Bing Maps. If they use Google Maps, this game would have been crazy good, Dave. It would have been crazy good. But because it's Microsoft, they were like, no, you gotta use Bing Maps. Bing Maps. I would have locked the door. I would have locked the doors on the US as well, Elazgar. Honestly, I would have. I'd have locked doors on the UK as well. To be fair, I'd had my chance. When I went to the beach in early summer, there's just hordes of people from the UK just roaming the streets without masks and not even. I just wasn't. I mean, I'm not a big mask person. Personally, wouldn't want to wear one, but. Yep. Let's have a look, Brian. I can tell you. I can tell you. I'll click it to live. No, I'm fine. By the looks of it. Yeah, I'm fine. You might have to do a page reload, Brian, sometimes. Or stop using Chrome. If you use Chrome, Chrome is horrible. I hate it. I stopped using it years ago. So you see this highway follows that must be a nice highway to drive that with that lake next to you. Because I mean in summer this is like being on a beach. It's not a lake. I think I actually know the Canadian anthem and the American anthem better than I do the British anthem. Because I watch a lot of American sports, so I hear it a lot more. I am really enjoying this flight today. I know this isn't for everybody, and I don't expect it to be for everybody, but I'm really, really enjoying it. And if God, not that I believe in him, but if God bestows me with a new graphics card at some point, or maybe a new tower, I would be over the moon with this game. Over the moon. I'm even surprised that I couldn't even believe it. When I was able to stream and play this game at the same time, I was pretty taken back. You like it? Yeah, because that's what they do, innit? I don't blame him for locking the doors to China either. And I do agree with him when he says that China have to pay in some way for this. They're going to have to compensate because they were allowing people to fly out of China when they knew there was an issue, and because they are a communist country, they didn't want to tell anybody or let any information out. And that's why Trump won't listen to the WHO, which he should do, but I can understand why he doesn't want to. But again, it's all political games, and the political games part of it all is where I kind of draw the line, because I understand political games, but in this situation now, it should be this, not this. And as far as I'm concerned, America is, and even Britain actually at the moment, is really showing that both parties are working on the basis of divide and conquer. And so that's not good for our countries at all, in any way. Whether you're a Lib, whether you're a Conservative, it isn't good for anybody, because I don't know, things will start changing. I mean, I said yesterday the British government at the moment are bringing in some pretty strange laws to deal with coronavirus. Here in Spain, it's a fucking shit show. Not the coronavirus here isn't as bad as they make out, and our numbers are definitely plateauing. Definitely here. Here where I am, I was really worried that there'd be an explosion once schools went back, but luckily it's plateauing. So there's still a lot of deaths, and unnecessary deaths, I'm sure, which is horrible to think of. I don't know. I'm not paid the money to make those decisions or to think about whether people should live or die. So we should be talking about Flight Simulator, not politics. But I'm just every day when I think, oh, things are good, it's like it's not good for the 100-odd people that died today that wouldn't have died any other year. And that's why I really think that when it all settles, we have to make, if it's no Scottish, it's crap. Stay in your house. I was watching a video about butteries yesterday. Let's see if I can't start making them. Those things are dangerous. I don't know if I should learn how to make them. Okay, hang on, we're at Highway's End. Okay, we're really getting close to Niagara Falls now. We'll be passing a prison complex, apparently, soon. We're at Highway End. We'll head south inland, which is when we're going to be kind of making our way towards Niagara, I think. No! Oh! No, we won't be. Not according to my thing. We'll come back out. We'll come back along the shore for a short while, and then we'll. We will. What was I saying about earlier about the A3? Yeah, so the A310 or A320 Neo, I think it is actually. Doesn't work properly, or it wasn't working properly when I tried it out earlier, and I don't know. A lot of things need fixing on that, I think, still. So they need to work on some of those things in this game, because you can't really do well, I can't do passenger routes in one at the moment because it doesn't seem to behave correctly. Having said that, I really don't know how I make one behave. So it's probably a mistake that I'm making. So this is the Parkway Road, by the way, here. This huge, that runs the whole breadth of Lake Ontario, and then we're going to make a turn to the south now, and we're going to be flying over Albion Prison, which is going to be somewhere over here, I do believe, or maybe even over here. Got a couple of airports in between. I don't know why I put airport markers on. Maybe you have to have them if you're having the marker. Make our turn more or less now, if I remember correctly. Maybe it's over the river that we make the turn. Come on, little buddy, make that turn. always crap myself when it doesn't make the turn. Maybe we have to touch Highway's End. And you know why it's called Highway's End? Because the highway ends. Very well done. Nope, there you go. There's the marker. And... nothing. Come on, baby, make the turn. We got the flight director turn done. Okay, there you go. Well, I don't know if that just started turning or it's because I turned the flight director on. No, I think it started turning. I'm not going to take the credit for that. I think it actually started turning just before. We shall never know. It's a secret. Okay, so here's Albion Prison. Now, Albion is the name of the bad guys in the new Watch Dogs game. Now, I might actually buy the new Watch Dogs game because I don't like Ubisoft. I've made it very clear before. I really don't like them as a company. Don't like how they work. Don't like how they operate. And I certainly don't like the fact that because they work essentially out of international waters online, they don't give refunds or just basically ignore you if you ask for a refund. Last time I asked for a refund for one game, which I hadn't even played because it wouldn't load, they told me to revert to the message boards, which in my opinion is not. Governments need to deal with that type of shit because if you can't get a game to run, no, you shouldn't be reverted to a message board. You might have downloaded the intellectual property, but you're not going to have access to it because it's run through their platform, so they can take it off immediately. They're not losing anything. But Ubisoft in particular seem to think that they can just keep hold of your money once they've got it. So probably won't pre-order. We'll probably give it a few days. I won't watch any videos or anything, but I'll give it a few days, see how it actually, see if it functions on most computers, and then if it does, I will buy it third party at a discounted rate, and because that's how I buy games these days when I get them, because I can't afford them full price, unfortunately. So even this game, I've only paid, what, the €1 starter? It charged me €8 last month, and I'll be paying another €8 this month, so I'll have paid €17 for what, 2 months, 3 months access to this game. So this is the prison here, Albion Prison. Tell it's a prison. Just looks like one, doesn't it? All these little crisscrosses going from house to house, or building to building. It's pretty good. It should have flown across Shawshank actually. Okay, so we are Albion Prison. We are now flying to Pine Hill Airport. Is our next one, and we're not too far from. We really aren't too far from Niagara Falls now, people. So thanks for sticking with us. Don't be running away, because we'll be there in no time by the looks of it. And I've got a couple of other games, Windows games, obviously included in that package, and I haven't bought them yet. And now this game is already reduced on the third-party website, so I think maybe I was thinking of renting it until Christmas, and then I'll probably get a price where it will be $30–40 less than the original price. So I'll probably save a little bit of money overall. When I say $30–40 less, I mean including what I've actually paid as well. So, okay, we are going to, that's Pine Hill Airport. We're going to make a turn to Medina. Here, you can see Medina over here. It's actually quite a nice little airport, that as well. Look at that. I love these little airports. I'd love to make one my home base. It's buffering in YouTube. I'm not having any problems myself on YouTube, LSCar. I'm just looking at it now. It's running fine. Oh no, hang on, I'm not live. That's why. It looks fine. I'm not live. Live. There's a live button. No, it looks fine live. To me. I think it's an issue with YouTube, you know, people. If you do have the option of watching on Twitch, watch on Twitch. Because I don't know what it is with YouTube and why they have this issue. I mean, somebody was saying that, what's his face? Yamix was getting buffering problems and stuff. I just think at certain times YouTube only give priority to maybe big streamers or big uploaders, and everybody else kind of gets a hit. I'm not entitled to anything, I suppose. Okay, so we're leaving Pine Hill and Medina, and there's Glenwood Lake, which I just missed there. Where is Glenwood Lake? Can't see Glenwood Lake. So sod Glen. Ah, this is Glenwood Lake here. Okay, and now we're heading over to Lockport, and this is going to be a large city, I think. Lockport can't be large because I've never heard of it, but it's going to be bigger than these places, I think. Oh look, high school, running track, baseball ground. Can't see the football field. Okay, getting some frame rate hits there, but it often does when you look down like that. Another golf course. Definitely 18 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh no, that one's got 14 holes by the looks of it. 14 holes. Keep connected on YouTube, Brian. Keep the numbers up. Oh, yeah. No, I think people should watch on Twitch if they have the option. Because Restream will pass the messages over anyway through the bot, so. And I think in reverse. Does it do the reverse on Twitch as well, Brian? I've never checked. Does it reverse send the messages on Twitch too? Or do you feel like you're alone on the chat on Twitch? So we're 10 nautical miles from Lockport, but we're pretty much all in arse here. I didn't know we could fly so fast at low level. We're like, what are we on? 187 knots ground speed, and we've still got an 8:30 arrival time, which I think was 8:26 before. And it's now 10:49, so it's saying that we're going to arrive in Toronto in 30 minutes. Now we're not, because we're going to fly around Niagara Falls once we get there. And thankfully, fingers crossed, there's been no crashes so far, because the VFR map is what causes the crash. So luckily I've had that and dealt with that. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad it does, because I wasn't sure if sometimes people on Twitch felt alone. That's why I used to use the dust, I forgot what they call them now. Okay, so we're kind of going a little bit back towards the bay here. We will go fully back towards the bay, and then we're going to swing back down south and head towards Niagara Falls, and we're kind of going to do a circuit around Niagara Falls. I'm guessing just so we get a decent look at it. But instead of doing the circuit, I think I'm actually going to free fly it. So we'll see how that goes, because buggered if I know how to low level fly around waterfalls and stuff. But I will give it my best shot, and hopefully I won't crash. I know you'll all be willing that on, but trying to keep this as realistic as possible. Don't want to have to take off from a local airport, so. Bent Wing. What a name. I wonder if there's like the name Bent Wing comes from somewhere, and I'm just wondering if like there's a real bad crosswind here or something. Let me have a look if there actually is a crosswind. No, we're actually we're flying into the wind here, and it's only 2 knots because I've got it on clear skies, haven't I? I forgot about that. I haven't got a weather set up. So okay, so this is pretty big city here, Lockport. Now my supposition is and I'll be honest, I didn't realise. What? Sorry, there is. If you experience kind of what you think is buffeting or buffering, it's not. It's me. No, so we're still in the States. No, we're still in the States because we're actually going to straddle the. I like that word, straddle. We're going to straddle the border because Niagara Falls essentially is the border. So once you cross over that river, you are in Canada. Oh, Canada. So, yeah, we're going to turn towards, back towards Lake Ontario. Oof, get some of those little sounds. I don't like those sounds. They don't normally mean anything good. When you start hearing them, it means that I think it means my graphics card's actually struggling to keep up with it, but I'm not getting anything terrible, so. Bent wing. Just trying to get it. It's the grass strip, so that's probably why it calls itself bent wing. It's a long one. Long one. That was in a general airport. That's good to land too. I'd love to do some grass landings at some point. I will look for some. Because I just think it'd be fun. But we'll have to see as... Because, you know, the world's kind of... It's a bit strange because the world's undiscovered, essentially. And unlike Elite, it doesn't tell you when you've discovered something. So you don't always know where the best things are. Unless somebody posts them or somebody knows them. You know, somebody really knows something, they'll post it up for you and tell you. But and there is no FS site at the moment that does that. There's no FS site where people are sharing flight plans, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing in these streams. I don't, because there is an intent to get people sharing flight plans and building routes. Because at the moment it really doesn't exist, but it well should. Because if you've never been to Catalonia, how do you know what you're looking for? For example, you can fly over it, sure, but you don't know what you're looking for. Okay, so as we hit on Cods, either just before or just afterwards, we're going to make a swip to the left. I am not going to touch anything this time because I want to see if it's just when it arrives at the marker. I'm guessing it is. It'll go a bit further and then it'll start the turn. Oh, it's disappeared now, so it's probably going to start making the turn at any point. So I like how it followed this inlet out. Olcott. So there's a harbour here. There you go, making the turn. And I didn't do anything there. This little town. Like I said, if eventually Bing Maps gets as good as Google Maps, we're probably going to see... We're probably going to be able to fly much lower, number one. We're talking Brian's levels, 500 feet. And we're going to be able to see... Yeah, I don't know what it is, Brian. Twitch is fantastic for streaming. If you're watching a streaming video, it's Twitch or nothing. If it's available. Because YouTube's just for streaming. I don't love it, but people want to get monetized, don't they? Get monetized on Twitch for quite a small amount, to be honest with you. You only need a few followers, a few watchers, and you can start being monetized. And I think the minimum monetization is like really small. It's like 12 quid a 12 quid a stream or something. Maybe you get paid for if you get, you know, if you've got your numbers and stuff. Or it's 12 quid a month. I can't remember. I mean, it's not all the money in the world, but you can start. It's a start, isn't it? But I think Twitch has a better idea of streaming than YouTube does. YouTube's kind of still working on videos and hasn't really realised the potential of streaming properly yet. And YouTube has because it's so famous, it has a lot of issues as well. For example, even though I've been streaming on YouTube, live streaming, for many years now, this must be my fourth year? Must be third year. I can't live stream from my phone yet, because apparently I'm not considered trustworthy to do it. Of course, that's because there's been murders on live stream and stuff like that, so they don't trust me to stream from my phone. So one of the ideas that I had, that I was talking to Alice guy about before, I can't actually do from my phone. It won't let me. Now what I can do is video something and then upload it in the moment, and you would see it maybe 10-20 minutes later, but I can't actually live stream and chat to anybody. Twitch, I can do it. It's really stupid. It really is. Woof. Bit of a frame rate hit there. Sometimes get frame rate hits when you do this spin. Okay people, we're almost at Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls will be, let's see, we've got the river ahead of us. So Niagara Falls somewhere around this area, more or less. There is a lake, a big lake, which I'm guessing is that one. So Niagara Falls is probably here. Because if this lake is here, then Niagara Falls will be here. He says. Unknowingly. I think it's somewhere here. I think I can actually see the strip of land. It keeps changing actually, but I think I can see the strip of land where Niagara Falls. So this is the great thing here. Huh? Here is the USA. Here's Canada. How cool is that? How cool is that? Here is the USA, and on the other side of the water is Canada. You can shout at people across the river, "Are you about to go out?" And they're going to go, "Fuck you!" Crazy, isn't it? I'd love to follow the Canadian border actually one day. Fly east to west across the border. Because I love borders. There's something about knowing that this is one country and that is another. It still mystifies me. I even remember when the first time I went into Scotland, we crossed the border and it was kind of like moorland. It immediately just started with moorland, and you could see heather growing around. I mean, we have heather in the UK, but you could see heather growing around. And the first shop, which was 20 metres after the border, is a place selling Scotty hats and haggis, and everybody behind the counter speaking Scotland and speaking Scottish. And it's the first time I was ever like, I've passed into a new country. I'm not in England anymore, and it is the most surreal feeling. When you do it via an airplane, it's completely different. You know you're in another country, but you've had that experience of going up, sitting in the sky and coming down. And although you know you're in another country, that thing of doing it in the airplane gives it a different feeling. When you physically, by foot or by car, in one moment cross into another country, it feels so strange. I'll actually fly the Mexican border one day as well, I think, because I'd love to see that. So all of this lake, all of this river is separating Canada from America. And you see actually even the difference in the terrain. On this side in Canada, it's obviously a very important farming section, and here it's not. It's probably rich people, I'm guessing, who can hippity-happity over the border. I left my wallet in El Segundo. So, yeah, we can see the falls. Look, we can see the falls here. That is Niagara Falls. It must be. Or maybe Niagara Falls is over here actually. No, because Niagara Falls is in the city, isn't it? So I didn't even know that there were these extra kind of falls around here. So I am really going to have to work out how we're going to do this. I really am, because I'm going to see exactly how much I can manipulate the speed here. Now, Niagara Falls has actually been tagged now. And we are going to make a change here. We're going to fly over, but I don't want to go to ridiculous low speeds here. What I might actually have to do is the active pause. So I might take it off the autopilot, do an active pause, fly around with the drone, and then take back over, because I think, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, because I think with the airplane it's a bit of a weird, it's going to be a bit of a weird situation. So we will, so you can see this is as here, this is as spectacular as Niagara Falls, look at it, but it's not Niagara Falls. I just got another account. We're getting some sound here, which I don't like it, because this can sometimes mean that the graphics card's on its last legs. Now, as I've said, can you see the vegetation difference here to here and here to here? This is because I've modded Niagara Falls. So whoever's modded it in has taken it from Google Maps, whereas this has come from Bing Maps. This is a trade-off that you have to have with the modded sections. They're decolorized, they have a different look because they come from Google Maps. But you can see they've got the bridge in, they've got Niagara Falls in, and this is the most important thing, because Niagara Falls was a real disappointment. But you see how the Google Maps part just integrates, and that's what I'm saying. You can see discolorization on the bridge. There's a reason. I think the bridge was hand drawn. So you will see a discolorization on the bridge, but as we pass over, we're going to do an active pause. So let me just take off the autopilot. We're going to do an active pause. Okay. Now, I don't know, that the plane looks at a really strange angle there, but at least I know I can take over as we go. Okay, so we're going to switch to the drone cam, and we are going to go looking around here. So first of all, this, wait, let me just do the little change. I'll just do the change. So we're going to look at this first, because this is one of the parts that really kind of gets me when I talk about it. So this side, USA, USA. This side, oh Canada. Okay, I think I've got it the right way around. So you see this here, this is all the cars waiting to go through passport control into Canada. This side, the same, but a little bit of a different setup. And I wonder why it's got a different setup. And this is what separates nations, people. This bridge separates two nations. It's I can't get my head around it. I never will. Okay, I won't pretend I will. So you can see here, oh, there's terrible discoloration. You know what? Discoloration is normally when something doesn't show right and I can't remember how to fix it. So this shouldn't look like this. This is an issue with me putting the mod in. So I don't know if I've got two mods. I have a problem with one of my mods of my hometown that does this, so it makes it really white. But because it's going over rocks, I suppose it's not too bad. Okay, and then we have this part here. Now, I think, if I remember right, you can see the discoloration. See those lights? That's something to do with the nighttime thing. Now, you remember Superman, where Lois Lane falls over? It's actually filmed here, and it was filmed on the Canadian side, but they don't tell you that, because there's bugger all on the USA side. So they actually filmed that part on the Canadian side to make it look better. So it dotted this as Niagara Falls, but I actually think it's this, if I remember rightly. It must be this part. She went over in a barrel. Okay, so yeah, so you see those lights? Those are actually pretty cool, but it's because at night it's lit up, and you see they change colour. The guy said he couldn't knock them off in the daytime. That might be why that's white as well, actually, because I don't know why, but he might have done something to do with the night. This bridge should be colorized too, by the looks of it. And it's white, unfortunately, but I don't care. It doesn't break it too much for me, but here we are on the west side, and then oh Canada. Because what I don't get is he's definitely imported all of this from Google, 100%, because he wouldn't have these coloration differences. But then the two waterfalls are a white color, so I'm not sure if he has taken them out, edited them a little bit and put them back in, but they don't seem to be showing. But I really don't know why. I had an issue with a place in my hometown that did exactly the same thing, and now I think it works and it was fixed, but I don't know what fixed it. I think deleting it and installing it again did it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like what do you call a restart, because I haven't had a restart since I've installed that. Can you see this as well? There's like this thing. This is white, so he's obviously hand placed this. It shouldn't be white. Trying to see anywhere else that's white that looks out of place, but it doesn't look like it. Oh, that. Oh no, that's part of the. That's part of the immigration part. Crazy, isn't it? Look at it. Huge. Guessing all the cars drive through here and then they go out onto that main road, but I love it. Wow. Blooming hell. To see the rocks like that, that's pretty good. But everything else looks pretty crap. That's why you don't fly at 500 feet, Brian. Why are the cars floating under the bridge? I didn't notice it, but I'll tell you why. Ah, yeah. I'll tell you why. Because see this? Here. It's quite hard to see it. See this here? This is why people are modding the game at the moment, because it's broken. Because it comes from as flat Google Maps, and it's not a 3D version. Google Maps puts the river into the water, unfortunately, because water's built on top of it. And then somebody comes along and maps the bridge into the game, but they can't map the traffic to go over the bridge. It's just an issue. I'm sure eventually they'll do some things and change it a little bit. But like here, you see this building here? I don't think this is supposed to be so far down and close to the water. Might be, but I doubt it. It looks sunken. The reason is you see these bits here. These are what we call monoliths. People who play the game and call this a monolith. And when it's doing this, it means that it's sunk something, or actually put something higher than it should be, because they don't really exist normally. So we're going to go back to the plane. We're going to press off active pause. We're going to allow it to make that turn, and I'm just going to initiate the autopilot again, and that'll be it. So yeah, so all of this river is separating the US and Canada. So we've got Canada, USA, Canada, USA. Okay, and just for the moment, we're actually going to circle back around in the USA. Over Niagara. And we're going to do this little circle, and then we're going to go back north. So we're going to head up in this direction, and then we're going to straddle a lake again. We're actually going to go over the lake a little bit before touching down in Toronto. So yeah, we're nearly there, people. We've only got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps? No, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps before we get into Toronto. So let's look. So a little way to go. I don't think it's going to be a short flight, but you see how fast we got from the sea to Toronto. I don't think we're going to have an issue getting down. I think that, I don't know if we'll be able to do it yet. Nearest airport, no, is Bassettfield, is 61 nautical miles. Holland's is 85. That's a little bit further. can't quite get Toronto Airport yet, unfortunately. So we'll leave it be for the time being. But we should be able to get Toronto eventually. I'm guessing just as we're flying over the lake. We'll fly over the lake. We're going to kind of fly northwest now until we hit the lake. And then when we fly past Hamilton Beach, which should be marked, we'll try and get in touch with Toronto and see if we can't get a runway for landing. Now, because it's a big airport, we might get a decent runway, and I don't, because it's GPS, we're not vectored in for a runway, but I could, in theory, put a runway into my nav system, because what you can actually do here is, I don't know what Toronto's number is, give me a second, CYTZ, unfortunately I can't get half the numbers here though, so let's have a look while we're doing this, because we're only flying back out here. So MFD, nearest, no, not nearest, it's not Navcom, minimums, no, so it must be near waypoint info. Okay, airport. Okay, so it's CYTZ. I think it's TY. Select airport. CYTZ. I'm hoping it's Z. Toronto City Centre. Okay. So we go Liz, and then we go to runways here. And we've got runway 6, 24, 8 and 26. Now the only problem is I don't know what the active runway is, and there's no way of finding that out, unfortunately. It's the only problem with simulators. But in theory, we could put the frequency in and find a runway. Normally, before you do the flight plan, if you're doing an RFR flight plan, you can put the runway in as you see fit. So, well, not as you see fit, but you'll look at what the active runway is, and then you'll plan. Because it normally, when you're doing an RFR flight plan, it'll give you the active runway. Okay, now maybe when I'm coming over the water and I can work out what the wind is, maybe I can work out roughly what the active runway is, but I'm looking at my map here and I don't actually know the active runway. I can't see exactly what it is. One of the reasons I say I can't see exactly what it is because it doesn't give me enough information. And here, I don't know if this is 06 and 240 and 08 260. I know that the runways kind of go in that way. Oh no, I do know. I've got my little flight sim. I haven't even been drinking. So runway 6, where is runway 6? Would be on a heading of 240. So it is. Okay. And runway 24 would probably be on a 060, no? Runway 24. 060. Oh, I'm learning this stuff, and it's actually, when you're learning it, it's really good. But until you know what the wind direction is, which at the moment it is, it's coming in from, oh, let's see if I can work this out. 2 knots coming in at 270. So that would bring us somewhere in the range of 26 to 35. So let's have a look. Runway 26. Runway 26, runway 35. Shit, they're really close to each other. I'm guessing the active runway is runway... Oh no. Yep. Supposing the active runway is runway 26. That would be my supposition. So, I could request runway 26 for landing. So, but I can probably do that when I get close to the airport without actually putting it into the nav. But what I can do, again, because we'll just let the plane do its thing because it knows what it's doing. You go into flight plan here. Let's see. So, wrong one. Wrong one. Okay, let's go down. Oh, if we can actually change this in flight. Would be quite interesting if we could. I can't imagine we can. No. So we can fly direct to, but we can't change. Ah, shite. We can't change the actual. If I press back, it takes us out. Flight plan. Let's try again. So it says 250. Ah, no, that's the altitude for 250 feet, not the. Okay, let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know exactly how to change the landing there through that, not through the procedure. Departure. No, hang on, let's have a look. Arrival. Ah, it says runway 8. And now I don't know if runway 8 is the active runway. Could be. I didn't know there was I didn't see it saying runway 8. Let's go back to the PFD. Flight plan. It is CT. Oh fuck. CT. Oh, have I messed it up now? Oh, I think I've just made the sim. Please don't crash, for the love of God. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Oh, it's so long. Sometimes it is long. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. This is the longest pause I've had in-game in the history of playing this game. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. I don't even look at it at the moment. Don't crash. Can we move around? I think I've crashed my game, people. It's not responding at all. Oh, fuck-de-doo. Come on. I don't want to press too much, because if I press too much it's going to kick in and then start selecting everything. But this is so strange. It hasn't said it's crashed, and it should have said it's crashed by now. Now, often the game does pause. It does have an issue with pausing and loading something in. But I've never had it this long, ever. Come on, please don't do this. But you see the thing where it says 22.41 nautical miles? If this isn't moving, that means we're not doing anything. So let me just see if I can maybe save it by doing something. Apps, services, is it under services? No, come on. Processes, I'm sure it's under processes. Right. No, it's not under processes. Resource values, memory, no, can't do it through that. This is so strange that it's actually, because now the CPU is not even bottlenecked. So if the CPU is not bottlenecked, there should not be an issue with the game, but it's still not doing anything. Oh, this is such a fucking pain in the ass. Pardon my French, but it is. There's no reason for it to be doing this at all. It's not a GPU problem. I thought the CPU or something was bottlenecked. It's bloody not. It's hardly using any CPU. But it's also not reading from the disk or anything at the moment, which tells me that there's a big issue. And it's only using 30% of the GPU. It is using a lot of power, but it's not going over the top. Any way to save this? I'm sure there is. Come on, Michael, you've done harder stuff than this before. Let's go here. We can do switch 2, but it's not gonna... Is it this? No, maybe. maybe. Let's give us a second, people. I cannot believe that it's not going to let me finish this bloody stream. I really was hopeful with this stream. I shouldn't have started fucking around with everything. But in theory, you should be able to mess around with everything. That's the thing. Right. Okay. Let's see here. So we'll go into that. We'll set the priority as high. Yes. Flight simulator not responding. Didn't notice that before. I can do a short. I can reload it and do a short flight plan from. This is the strangest. A freeze. A crash I can handle. A crash I can handle. A freeze I can't. Oh, what have we got? Something's come up there. Microsoft Flight Simulator. The game's already running. I fucking know that. So. Yeah. Right, okay, so we're gonna have to do the flight plan from right, shut it down. It's definitely not coming back. I don't know why it's not coming back, so we'll have to do it from. It'll take me longer than I wanted now. But it's not responding at all. I have no idea why it's not responding. Okay. Right, Sim Toolkit Pro. I have to close down as well. And now there's the big issue now I have is loading everything back up because the memory has been full of this. So I don't like loading stuff back up. So I can't remember if we go Flight Simulator first. And then Sim Toolkit. We were like 4 places off. And I start messing about with everything. What a fucking dial. I won't do that again. So it'll come back in a minute. It takes a while to load up this game. Questions in the chat. Just no questions of how did you break the game. Never had it freeze on me. One of the things I've never known it to do is freeze. It has these mini freezes. They are generally when it's trying to is normally when it's trying to load scenery in. So it does like these micro freezes just so you're not arriving at the scenery before it's loaded in. They're not so annoying. You get used to them after a while. But we'll see. We'll see. It should be coming back now. You shouldn't. Well, you wouldn't notice the difference. It's still a black screen for you. But I've got a loading black screen, which means. And then I think while it's loading the game in, I'm going to have a quick visit to the lavabo or al baño, and then we'll come back to it. Because that load between the beginning part and the map screen is a little bit slow. So, but there is a we can fly from Niagara Falls Airport, KIAG, and we can land in Toronto, CYTZ, Toronto Island. And actually, what I will do is, as we arrive in Toronto, I'll give it a little bit of a fly around just so you can have a look at Toronto, and then we'll bring her into land. It's really disappointing though that flight didn't finish. But to be honest with you, again, playing around with some of these MFD things, they're all a bit buggy at times. Each computer reacts to them very differently. And I've said before, I've got a potato PC, and I've got to understand that I've got a potato PC at times, because if I don't start understanding that, I might actually start finishing some flights. But it's strange because I'm getting more excited because I'm understanding more and more about aviation each day because I've been watching some aviation videos on YouTube, and as I said, I've flown in Flight Simulator for a long time, but I used to just kind of fly around cities and fly through the streets and do all this aerobatic stuff. And then I learned how to use the Autoland facility on the A320, but I never always got it right. And I know now why I didn't get it correct, because the old Microsoft Flight Simulator didn't teach you, or didn't give you as easy a way of doing things as this one does. And this one just, I don't know, it feels so much more intuitive. The day I bought it, myself and Elsgar were flying all over the place. Elsgar pulling off dangerous maneuvers which were completely banned under the Geneva Convention, but we were able to get off the ground and fly, and I think we both landed. Pretty sure we both landed a couple of times. So, you know, this game just feels much more user-friendly. And when I've been watching these videos of the TBM, the people who are flying them are saying, hey, this thing flies itself. I have to do very little. And I like that idea when you're playing this, that you have kind of the same feeling. And the A320 has issues, but I'm sure once they crank them out, I'll be able to fly one, because the ideas of the flight are the same. If you fly, especially if you fly an IFR, which is basically you sit there and read the instruments, and the plane does everything else for you. But we'll see. So, okay. Not when it freezes or crashes. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Right, I'm just going to take a very short break while it loads through the screen, because this is a bit of a long... Well, actually, it jumped that last part very quickly. So, I'll be back in a moment. No, where did the back screen come from? That's not a good sign. It's loading, that's always a good sign. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so let me get my checklist. So, world map. Okay, so we're gonna fly IFR, I think, here, because we don't need to really... Niagara Falls, Buffalo Niagara International. We don't need to. Niagara Falls International. So we're going to go for Niagara Falls International. We're going to start on runway 28 right. Select that as departure. We are going to go into Toronto. Toronto City's on an island, I'm guessing, because it bloody looks it. So, CYTZ. So what you do here is you go into here, CYTZ. It'll bring up Toronto. It should bring up Toronto. And then what it's going to do is it'll actually, if you go here, IFR, so we'll do low altitude because we're not going that far. Okay, and you'll notice that it's a direct route, but it's going to give us a runway for landing, and that active runway is runway 26, which is actually one of the runways I mentioned. I said I thought it might be 35, but it's actually 26 with the wind at the moment. So we know what the active runway is, 26, because it's gone green here. So this is just where we have to make some small changes. So when you see the approach, you have to go lock 26, because there is no other option, because the other is ILS. So you see how he's going to fly us out over the bay here? Well, we don't want that. Okay, we don't want to fly out over the bay like that. It's pretty damn ugly. So it's an ugly flight route. It's going to take us straight over the bay and straight to the airport. And we're going to miss the city of Toronto. And I don't want to miss the city of Toronto. We want to go across Hamilton Beach. These are all in Ontario, Canada. Oh, there's Detroit there. So you got this little bit of Canada sandwiched in between the US of A. Strange, isn't it? Okay, Niagara Falls. We're going out, and it's kind of a right departure, which actually isn't too bad. We'll probably making a right turn isn't the worst thing. What we can do is we can choose a departure direct. Do you know I've had this issue recently with everything is departures direct, and I don't understand if I've changed a setting or something. So I don't mind that. That's fine. So what we're not going to do is we are not going to fly just simply. Let's see if I've just got something turned off. That could be what it is. Why are my nav aids off? So those should be on for me. Okay, so we'll close that. And the reason we want to do that is because we want to choose nav aids. We want to be able to add nav aids in. But why that still says add. So you see I added this one. Now it's gone, oh right, okay, so you want to go over here, you want to go over here. Yeah, we bloody well do. So we're going to add Hamilton. Now if when we start adding like Hamilton, it's going to give us some crazy turns, so we don't particularly want Hamilton. But as you know, we want to fly over Toronto. We want to have a look at Toronto. So let's have a look at ZTO, Toronto down center. Right, so we want to stay clear of the airport. Don't particularly want to land in the airport. Might free fly this part, to be honest with you. I'm going to add Hoffs. Okay, and that gives us a bit more. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take off and we're going to fly around the city. Okay, so that just makes it a bit better. Still don't understand why recently all my departures are going on direct when you should have like a list of departure routes. And for example, if you're coming out of Niagara there, SN and Rovmu should probably be options. I would have thought, particularly SN, I would have thought would be a departure option. I can add it actually, because it's not giving me the departure, and I don't understand why it's not. We can set our naval off. So it says 6,000 feet is our thing, but we're not. We're flying at 3,000 feet because that's what we want to do. Big boys, we can do whatever we want to do. So we'll set that, and that's going to give us a 3,000 feet. We can actually go 2,000 feet, I'm going to be honest. And we'll see if we can make a takeoff this time for this altitude of 2,000 feet, because before it didn't like it and it kicked off and tried to kill me. But we'll see. Okay, so we're going back on the world map. We're going to reset our ATC options because, oh no, it's still got them. Don't know why it still got them, because normally it shits them. But okay, so we've got at least a half decent departure. We're not going to do that crazy turn off the end of the runway. We're actually going to go straight, which is kind of what we want. And then we'll fly. I'm going to pull my throttle quadrant all the way back. Everything's going to be set up on takeoff because I've set it from the runway. I didn't set it from parking because I don't want to go through that process now, because I need to go eat at some point. It's been like 3.25 hours or something, and this is probably going to be about another half hour or so. So that's going to pretty much take the stream where I thought it would. And then tomorrow I'll be back, and I'm doing the round the world stream tomorrow, so we'll be going back to that one. I'll do that sometime in the afternoon. Still not sure yet, so just keep an eye out on your YouTubes tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe and click that bell notification so it tells you when I upload a time that I'm going to go live and whatnot. So I need to do the auto mixture, or the auto tank, sorry. So yeah, you see, user friendly, not when it freezes or crashes. But yeah, every game goes through this these days, and unfortunately, this game's just not. This game kind of got released in alpha, if you ask me. But it crashes. Sometimes I wonder if it's because of OPS, because I'm running OBS, and OBS is pretty system heavy. And I've actually I've got it running. Because I was speaking to somebody else who streams, and they were like, "Oh, turn off the preview on OBS because you're basically almost streaming the game. Sorry, you're building the game twice. I mean, you're not, but the secondary one, it does take FPS away and stuff." So I've started doing that now. I started shutting down anything I've got running in the background, and in general, it runs all right. So we're not going to wait for everything. I said before, it's going to be like 2 minutes or something. You normally let it, you let it go through its process. I just need to make sure that certain things are set. So this needs to be set as on. The autopilot's up. That's fine. That's set. That's set. That's set. These are generally off by default, which I don't know why. I can see now. I've done this so much. 2,000 feet. I've done this so much now that, I mean, it is absolutely second nature of what I'm setting. It's crazy. I love it because I've never felt so comfortable. Normally, like, it kind of feels like the I don't know. It feels like the cockpit or the plane should be a strange place, an alien place. But now I feel much more comfortable. Let me just open up my VFR map and close that down. Okay, so I'm already ready to go. Just need to take off the parking brake. CAS is empty. There's nothing here in the CAS telling me that I've done something wrong. So I am ready to go. My flaps are down for takeoff, and we are gonna go. Now this time I was trying to keep kind of the torque down last time and whatnot. This time I'm not going to worry so much about it, but I am going to try and keep the torque down slightly. So you see I've just gone over the barrier there. We're going to try and get it pushed. I'm going to try and get it pushed up. Just so it's about 99. Hopefully it won't. Well, we're taking off automatically here. This is great. So I'll touch the brakes. Bring up the... so that's nice. I don't know what the hell made me want to take off there. Okay, we need to get to 100 and... I don't actually know what the flap speed is in this one. Could be 140 or something, maybe?
Ineffectual gamer Niner, 7 contact Buffalo departure on 126.5.
Could be 140. Bring the flaps up. Okay, we should be able to gain speed now, and now I can just click the autopilot, and the autopilot's going to take over and do everything for me as planned. So there's Niagara Falls again, but we're just going to pass over Niagara Falls. We're not going to worry too much about it.
Did you hear my last transmission?
I certainly did, senor. I just wasn't paying attention. So there you go.
126.5 for Ineffectual Gamer 907.
So I'm going to let my AI do this. Manage radio comms. Because your damper needs turning on. I'm aware of that. Now the CAS is clear, so it was flashing before, but now it's clear. And again, you just get used to all this. It's like if you have a car, you kind of get used to the feel and everything. And the takeoff there was fine, so I don't know what the hell happened in New York. I really don't. It's quite strange. Because in New York, this thing wanted to plant itself in the ground. Okay, gears up and everything, so this is fine. I'm flying at 2,000 feet. We are going to... flying at 2,000 feet, we're going to actually already be on approach when we turn towards the airport. When we eventually turn towards the airport, we'll already kind of be on full approach, so... that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Somewhere over here, there's Lake Ontario, so Toronto's somewhere over here. Can't quite make out Toronto. In reality, you probably could. You probably could see some bits and bobs on the skyline, but we can't. So, and we're probably going to be hauling bottom to get there. I think at the moment. Yeah, I don't think this isn't going to take a long time to get to Toronto. We might have to go to 3,000 feet because of buildings, I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm going to request 3,000 feet manually. because I don't trust 2,000 feet around the Toronto area. So so increase by 1,000 feet.
Buffalo departure Ineffectual Gamer 907. Request 3,000 feet.
He's going to give me it.
Gamer 907 climb and maintain 3,000 feet.
Okay, there's instruction. I've set that in the autopilot, so you'll see it starting to climb now. And that's fine. Now I don't need to request anything else. I'll go back. You can't see this list, but it's just the ATC. Well, you might be able to see the bottom of it actually. Let's climb, maintain 3,000. That's fine. Okay, so this is still marked at 2,000, but I've asked for a rate. I've asked for an increase, so we should be actually flight level change should be going better than that. So I don't know if I have to point it up or maybe put the engine up a little bit. Yeah, you have to change the engine slightly to initiate the flight level change. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think it's how the plane works. I think the plane works on the basis of, I don't know, but I don't like the way the flight level change takes place, because it always feels like you're having to add or take away, and I don't think that's how the flight level change works normally. Like right on 100. I don't know if that's a good, like that flashing is actually normally bad, but so it says estimated arrival time 8:25 and it's 8:08. Actually, my original was 8:06. So, no, 8:26 I think, so I think I made some time there, so I'm actually going to get there. If that's a true real time, then I'm going to get there a little bit before. We've got a tiny climb going on here. Tiny climb, but that's okay. So we still can't see Toronto. Okay, so yeah, because we were in American airspace and now we're in Canadian airspace, we would for sure be changing over.
275 for Ineffectual Gamer 907. Toronto Center Ineffectual Gamer 907 is climbing through 2,700 feet for 3,000 feet. Ineffectual Gamer 907 Toronto Center continue to route MEO as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Wait, have I got the chat turned off? Turned off on the phone. Live chat, not top chat. Okay. Right, so now we'll be going to Hamilton here. Our next one is Rovmu. That's our next waypoint, which is here. And then we'll be entering the city of Hamilton, Ontario. And as we do that, we'll be actually entering almost Toronto airspace. Well, it'll actually be in Toronto airspace as we pass the city of Hamilton. So once we're in Toronto airspace, there's a few different airports in Toronto. We're not going into the main airport. We're going to one of the. We're going to one that's actually on an island. I think the main Toronto airport is CYYZ, which is the main one, and I think that's like a huge hub. Well, it will be a huge hub. And then there's two main smaller airports, which this will be one of them, and then Grimsby. Lots of places named after places in the UK, in America and Canada. Yeah, so I think there's in the Greater Toronto area. There's like I can't remember, like 5 or 6 airports. There's a short cooldown. Oh yeah, short frame rate buffering where I panicked there. So in reality, you'll probably be able to see the Toronto skyline here. Don't know for sure, but traveling at this flight level, you probably should be able to see it. But you can see this road that comes all the way over from Niagara Falls. It's obviously one of the main highways going into Ontario. Now Grimsby in England is actually by the sea, so having it by this big lake that's huge. Pretty interesting. You can see we're making a slight turn. Yet the frame rate's not your buffering of your video. It's so you can see we kind of got a kind of hills along here, which I didn't know. How would I know? I've never been here before. It's the first time in my life. But that must have. I'll have to have a look on Google Maps, a picture of this area, because it looks like there's like a sweeping hill that goes up here, all the way along here. Which must be nice if you live there. Doesn't look flat. So we are at 240 knots. So we are still estimated, I'm guessing 2025, no 2024, so we might get in at 2022, 2021 at this rate. Angle of attack's fine. I haven't got the weather thing on, not the weather, the wind speed. Can't get my words out here, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. So yeah, I don't know why there was that. I really don't know why there was that freeze. I'm guessing it was because I was playing around in the menu and everything. It doesn't like that when you do that. But well, it is what it is. Let's have a look. So this is Hamilton. Now Hamilton's quite big, yeah? One of the biggest cities, I think, in Canada. Well, that's strange because this is white. I know, but that's a windmill. There isn't a windmill there in reality. Bit of a running joke in the Microsoft community. Obviously, because they're the type of people, the people who create the game, and the type of people who are looking for a better world. So they went a bit over the top with the windmills, and you seem to find them everywhere. And they seem to multiply when they come into contact with each other. So a ridiculous amount of. So Toronto's over here. It's kind of flying away from Toronto at the moment. I can't really. I'm going to try and get it in view. Somewhere over here, but obviously it hasn't loaded. Oh, it just loaded in there, just popped in, so you can see the city of Toronto there. That's why I had a frame rate issue, because it's trying to load in these. Even though they're low level, it's trying to load them in. Nice steel works here. It reminds me of back home in England. It really does. So we're going to make a right turn somewhere along here. You see, when I said, Brian, that flying low level, everything's kind of just a little bit too, yeah, doesn't look quite right. That's why you need to go to that 4,000. I think 4,000 is a better level, I really do. I just think 4,000 gets you it looks a bit more realistic when you're, like when you look out the window like that, it looks fine. They did a good job of it. I love the creaking when you turn. It's because you shouldn't really be turning 240 knots. What is the turn speed? Maneuver speed, sorry. Maneuvering speed 158 knots. So if you're making a maneuver, you should be doing it 158 knots, whereas I'm doing it like 250. So that's why you hear the cabin creaking around like it's an old castle. Flamborough, that's a place in the UK as well. Skydive swoop, Flamborough. I think it's spelt differently. It's actually got the Middlesbrough way of saying it there. So yeah, we're pretty low here because I can tell because the frame rates are taking a hit from those trees. Nothing we can really do about that. So we are now flying to, well, basically to Toronto. We're flying towards one of the airports, one of the major airports. We're going to fly in between the airports, like you would a double star, just right down the middle. Because technically you shouldn't be flying over any airports, and especially at 2,000 feet. I'm sure that's a huge no-no. Now, Hamilton, I've just realised that actually, I'm looking at the difference. See how green this is? Whoop. And then suddenly it turns grey. Hamilton might have been in the mod that I did for Toronto, because Hamilton's actually, it's like really close neighbour. Oh please, I'm shitting it every time there's a break. So I'm gonna have to check that mod over, because I'm pretty sure Hamilton's in that mod. And I'll tell you why. Houses are all rendered. You go over here. not so many houses rendered. You see how it's like very, very specific. Lots and lots and lots of houses. Lots and lots and lots of Greenland. So I have a feeling that this has been pulled from Google. Normally if you... Okay, he'll do that. Well, I better make sure he does it because he stopped doing it earlier. Oh no, he's doing it now. Doing a flight earlier and he wasn't doing any of the stuff, so...
Toronto Center, Ineffectual Gamer Niner, 73000.
So I think Hamilton's been added in this.
Ineffectual Altimeter Niner 7 Toronto Center, continue to HOSFS as planned.
So we're passing Burlington Airpark here. Pretty cool. Burlington Airpark. And we really haven't got that long to go now. Let's see if we're cutting any more time off it. No, it still says 2024 and we are at what? 2016. So we're less than 10 minutes from landing. So I always say when I'm less than 10 minutes from landing, I normally start getting in landing mode. So I'm going to pull my sleeves down. It's been stupid. But I do normally pull my sleeves down. I sit up in my seat, I get my cushion right. Because when we make that landing, we want to make it as sweet as we can. Now, FMS. So we will see when we come in on the flight path, because we are going to come in on a straight ramp towards the landing. No, we're not actually. We're going to come in at a slight angle. Are we? No, we're going to come straight on. So we've got a long approach. Huge, actually. That's nice. I like a long straight approach. I do. I have to say I like a long straight approach. And then we'll see if it's got an ILS or I mean, we're not coming in on an ILS because it didn't give us the option of selecting the ILS, but you never know. If the opposite end of the runway does, I think it still works. Don't quote me on that because I don't know so. I think so, but I think it does. So if it does, we'll be able to use that to make the landing. And to be honest with you, we're so low here at the moment that we could probably land regardless. And if we have to land regardless, I'm going to enjoy it because I think that I can do it now. I did it earlier, I felt comfortable doing it. It's all about getting, it's all about just getting right, let me get this right in my mouth. It's all about getting the kind of approach speed right, and then you can do everything else. So yeah, so we are kind of entering Toronto here. This is really, I've never seen Toronto. I know it's got like a Space Needle and we can see that there. I'm going to try and just see the Toronto Space Needle there. It'll load other stuff in the meantime, I'm sure of it, but there's downtown Toronto for sure. But it seems like the city's a bit dotted out, or a bit dotted around. So I don't know why it's not loading more of it in. If this was New York, this would all be loaded in, but I don't have any issues with it, but I do like this island. I think is where we're landing. It would be 2 o'clock outside of our window, so you go, what you do to do that is 2 o'clock, yeah. So we should see the Toronto Space Needle when we're coming in. I don't know if that's what they call it, but we should see it when we're coming into land. Now, because this Toronto's being pulled from Google Maps, we might... I mean, I'm guessing this is the main part of the city. I'm guessing. And then this will be one district, and this will be another district. But we're flying so low. The frame rate hits are crazy here. Really are. So we're going to make a right turn. And then we're going to fly across to this area here where the chat is. Behind where the chat is. Take some serious frame rate hits here. I'm going to put my I'll put my controller in front of me just so I can have a bit of a look around if needs be. I actually love looking out the windows when you're like this altitude. It feels so good. Let's see if it's oof. Well, the guy who did it said that he'd actually done it so that the frame rates didn't take too much of a hit, but I'm calling BS. Okay, so we're going to make a turn to the right anytime now. because we're flying over an airport here, and normally, as I said before, you can't fly over an airport. I think it's an airport anyway. Oh no, I don't think it is.
Ineffectual, altimeter 907, you were 16 miles west. Descend and maintain 2,000 feet.
Don't worry,
Keep speed
2,000.
below 200 knots. Expect
So
localized
you
runway
hear there, he
changes
said
to
keep
approach
speed
by
below
helicopter
200 knots. So that's our intention now. So I'm going to immediately just pull back.
Descend and maintain
Our
2,000
airspeed
feet
here is
below
going to start
200
dropping, and we
knots.
need it to go to
Expect localized
200.
runway 26
Otherwise,
approach
they're
by
going to
Alger
get really
transition
angry with
cleared
us.
to Alger Ineffectual.
So what you tend to do is just pull back on the throttle. Torque here is down to 46. We let it get to about 200, and then we start kind of playing just a little bit with it to get it back to speed. If we have to, because where I pulled it back to might be the perfect point. Because it's getting slower now. Because again, you do tend to learn, your reflex memory does tend to pick out what is what. So yeah, the Toronto Space Needle, if that's what it's called, is looking a little sorry on its own there. Wow, I think I just about hit the airspeed as it needed. I'm just gently touching it to keep it between that 199 and 200 for the time being. There we go, because it did say below 200, so we don't want it to the point where it's climbing. We want it to the point where it's just kind of dropping or twitching like that. That seems about right. So I'll check on it every now and again.
Altimeter 907, please expedite your descent to 2,000 feet.
Oh, we need to go to 2,000 feet. Sorry, I forgot we're at 3,010. So we're going to go vertical speed here, and we're going to go down. And we'll just do it at like whatever. What have we got at 400? Maybe a bit faster. We'll do it in a minute anyway. So see how our speed's climbing. So we just need to pull back. So we're told to keep under 200. We don't want to be breaking any rules here. Oh, let's set the autopilot to 1,900. Did a double tap. So looking out the window, we're seeing much more of Toronto now. If you can see it there. I mean, Toronto's really coming into view, or at least the downtown Toronto is really coming in now. It started popping in. Again, this is probably to do with me having a bit of a...
Altimeter 907, please expedite your descent to 2,000 feet.
Yeah, we're trying it, mate. We're getting there, don't worry. I'm fine at 2,000 feet here. I'm fine at 3,000 feet. If I was at 3,000 feet here... Oh, you can't see it. So we're going to make a massive loop turn, or a half loop turn, in a while. And when we make that, if I wasn't at 3,000 feet there, I would be concerned. Like, if I wasn't at 2,000 feet there, I'd be slightly concerned. But I mean slightly, because you could still get down in time. But the pattern entry here, obviously, because it's an ILS and it's what I've programmed, it wants me at 2,000, and it's not interested in anything else. Now I am arriving at 2,000 now, as you can see. Now this is really important. See this here, the big G? This means that we have a localizer approach, and at the moment it's searching for the localizer. The localizer is what tells the plane where the runway is. And this G means glide slope. Now if there is in fact a localizer on there, which hopefully there is, this G will turn green and this will start dropping. When it drops to here, literally where this purple marker is here, I press this button and the plane will actually automatically descend. So I don't have to push forward on the stick, pull back on the stick or anything, it will automatically descend. The only thing I have to control is flaps and the speed to make sure that I'm not overspeeding as I'm coming in. Now your speeds are generally shown on here, and to be honest with you, speed bugs, we want this one set for the V approach. So we want to be approaching at 85 knots. You can see at the moment we're at 176, but 177, but we can bleed all of that off. We can bleed all of that off using flaps and stuff like that, but we don't want to start using them now because we're nowhere near the airport. The airport is actually back over here on an island near downtown, and we're actually skirting around the downtown, so we don't want to be doing that anytime soon. Now our time's gone up now, and I'm guessing that's because we're at 2,000 feet and we have pulled our throttle back. So because it said under 200, so I can actually put the torque up now because we're not doing 200 knots. We're allowed to do 200 knots here, so I can put the torque back up. It's one of the things that you kind of get used to eventually. If I'm talking to you like this, I'm not really paying attention to it. But if I was flying, this would be, I'd be like, hey, I'm not doing my best speed here. But that's why it's called instrument flight reading, I'm guessing, because you have to read your instruments and make sure that you're doing pretty much what you should be doing. So it's 50-something% torque. I can't quite read it from here. 198 knots. It is ticking up to 199, so I'm just gonna give it. You just hear that change in the engine, and you hope it starts going in the other direction, and it's kind of jumping between both. So you know the way it's doing it now, I'm probably going to lose 1 knot per God knows how many minutes, and it's really not going to affect me that much. But I can have a look at it again. But as we make this final turn, and especially when we're on the final part, so we'll start making the turn anytime soon. I guess maybe over this green patch of land here. Just going to knock us up a little bit actually in the cockpit. I like this so you can see this little white part of the nose here. I feel that feels like a much more realistic seat position than the normal position you get. But I might be wrong. Okay, so we didn't even get onto the green grass, and we're going to start making this turn now. So we're actually going to come out over the sea here, and then we'll make a final turn. So all these are going to be right turns. There's going to be a gradual right turn here. Then we're going to make it a little bit of a harder turn. So this one you can hardly see it on the on here. You can only see that it doesn't even really register. You can kind of see that it's off center here. Okay, glide slope's now disappeared. I'm guessing it's because we're out of range of the airport. Okay, that would be my guess. So the G that was here is gone. But I think as we make the final turn and come towards the airport, that G will reappear. And when it does, bingo, because we can get a really good approach with that. And when I say a really good approach, it means that a lot of it, most of it is hands off until the last 300 meters where you take over. Normally you look at like the wind and stuff like that and try and, but I'll just try and do it anyway. Might just makes landing it that little bit nicer, a little bit easier. So just wait. Oh, I don't know what I pressed there. That makes it does that. That makes it does that. That makes it do that. So we've expedited our descent. So I guess they're just waiting for us to get into the airspace now. Glide slope still disappeared, but I'm not worrying too much at the moment. I know where it disappeared, so I'm looking on the map where I'll kind of be on the opposite end. And we've actually gone quite a long way from the city now. Unfortunately, I can't properly. Oh yeah, I can. Wait. Because we can't really see the city now. It'll still be loaded in, so we'll see it more than we did before. So you can see it here and here. Look at how big it is there. Look at how many buildings there are. So now it's loaded in, it'll stay there. But when you're first flying in, and it hasn't loaded in, it sometimes gives you like a really crap kind of view. Still got no glide slope, but again, 2,000 feet. I'm going to be able to land this thing, no problem. We've only lost 1 knot, so we know that that's not an issue. I'm still making this long turn. Just as we kind of come over the bay here, the turn should, I don't know if we'll notice it, but it'll be a little bit of a harder right turn, and then we'll fly out over the water, and then there will be a kind of maybe a 10-degree turn or something where we'll turn on the final, and that's when we start preparing for the landing. Now hopefully the ATC and everything is gonna it is gonna lead us in. Sometimes it's a bit slow to react, but if I go through all my procedures and everything, so you can see this is a bit of a harsher turn now. Whereas gone from being like here, it was really close, but now, well, now it's closing in because it's trying to straighten itself out. But it went to here, and then the next one I'm expecting goes to here. Okay, so, but we'll see. We'll see when it happens. Got FMS set. Still haven't captured the glide slope yet, which I thought we might have captured by now, but it was.
Ineffectual altimeter 907, descend and maintain 1,500 feet.
Okay, so we've got 1,500 feet now.
Descend and maintain
Which we're going to do a
1,500
flight level
feet.
change.
Ineffectual gamer
And
907.
we're going to just pull back on the we're going to pull back on the throttle a little bit just so it makes that change, because the flight level control seems to want that in order to make the change. I don't know what the bumping up and down is, but well, he'll sort himself out in a couple of 100 feet. That's actually, I'm loving that view of the Toronto skyline there with the sun shining off the water. That's epic. That's great. So we're probably going to head about another minute in this direction, and then we're going to make a final right turn, which will be our approach turn. So we'll start putting everything into place, and we should probably get clearance. Yeah, we should get clearance any second now. G still hasn't appeared here. The glide slope still hasn't appeared here. Now my worry is, again, this is a simulator, it's not reality, so it might be acting as though we've lost it, and it might not come back. But as I said, with this long of a straight approach, it shouldn't be an issue. But my theory is, if it disappeared there, we should have had it back way by now. Should have had it back way by now if it was going to come back. So I suppose that it's not going to come back, and we don't actually have a localizer button on this airplane. Normally the localizer. Okay, so you see how I said it would probably go a big turn. It's actually gone further than I thought. But yeah, we have to make this big turn to come in on the final one. So as soon as we straighten out, we are going to start our approach. So we're going to start trying to bleed off some speed. I'm going to put down some flaps. It's going to help us bleed off quite a lot of speed. So we're going to put down the first flaps. We're going to fly over this piece of land here. It'll be a bit afterwards, so we're not going to put down our full flaps there. We're going to watch our speed here as it drops. And I don't think it's going to drop an awful lot. And I'm not going to pull back on the throttle because we're only at this like quarter, no, third of torque. So I'd rather use my extra flaps that I have for the kind of final landing part, but I don't want to put them in place yet. So I'm going to turn this bleed off. I'm going to try and go down to about 140 maybe. Oh, whoop. I hate when I do that because I'm pulling the wrong part. Okay, so let's track that. Okay, yeah. So we haven't got the G back, so I don't think it's coming back. I think we've lost it, unfortunately. It's part of this, how the game works. It doesn't seem to understand that you would get it back again. I'm guessing it's because the computer system was looking for it, found it, but then thought it wasn't there. So at this speed, we can't go lower than 120 here with these flaps. Okay, so if we go lower than 120, we're probably gonna stall. But we are on a straight in flight here, straight in here. So as I drop the next flaps, this white part will go lower. So I'm actually going to bring the wheels down first.
Ineffectual altimeter 907, you are 6 miles east of Toronto
So
Island.
Ineffectual gamer 907.
So
Toronto Island traffic ineffectual gamer
So Toronto
907,
Island.
6 miles east inbound localizer runway 26. Toronto Island traffic ineffectual gamer 907 is on final runway 26 to land.
So again, I'm not getting the thing. I'm a little bit worried. We're not getting the going to turn the autopilot off and take over here, because so we just need to keep an eye on our speed. And again, I've never done this approach, and I didn't even look at it beforehand, so I don't actually know exactly where the runway is. But I'm trying to keep us on a course, and hopefully... Ah, okay, I can see it now. Okay, so I'm a little bit off here. A little bit off, but we'll be okay. I'll settle it out. I can't see the runway at all on the general screen, but I can see on my other screen where it is. So flaps are down full, so we need them down full for the approach. Just a tiny little correction here. I hope I'm coming down on the right runway, but I'm pretty sure I am. Now, yeah, the runway guidance, it's not showing up at the moment, and I don't understand it. And I don't mind, because I'm actually starting to get a feel for... Ah, there it is. It's come up like way after I needed it. Way after I needed it, but... And I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why it did it earlier today and it did it yesterday, so... Sorry about the cough. Coming a bit steep there at the last part, isn't there? Coming very steep. We'll be okay. Okay, great touchdown. Great touchdown. Let's slow it down a little bit. We'll probably go off at the end of the runway, I'm guessing. Maybe we cross the runway. Come on, give us the exit. Don't actually know how we exit this runway. It's really strange how the ATC and everything stopped talking to me these days. All the airports seem to be acting like general aviation. Trying to think where I've done an update or something that has maybe affected that. I don't know. But I should have had a contact from them. It is a small airport, so maybe that's why.
Toronto Island traffic Ineffectual Gamer 907 is clear of the runway.
That was a beautiful landing, that one. Yeah, so I don't even get to choose. I just drive into the parking. So this is really strange. This must be just how it is at municipal airports. Like you might just have a spot where you go to. I'm gonna watch that landing back. That was really, really nice landing. And that's why I don't understand why I can't land a Citation or an A320. I mean, A320 is different because it's bigger. Citation is just different speeds. It's the same procedure, but I always seem to bounce the Citation. I don't know. City of Toronto. Okay, so we're obviously going to take the drone and have a good look at the city of Toronto, okay? So you needn't think that I'm just going to log off now and say, ah, sod y'all. There's a fire station. Some fuel trucks. I really don't know where I am here, so I need to actually use the external view. Okay, there's some parking here. If there's enough space. Ah, there's tons of space, yeah. So we'll make it turning into here. to be a bit careful because it's slightly tight. Oh, there is actually a guy here. Now, I don't know if it just loads one guy into each spot. I don't know, but this'll do us absolutely fine and dandy. I'll try not to kill any of them either, though, this time. But it's as though they were waiting for us. There you go. He actually was. Look, he's bringing me in. I'm not gonna bother with it or anything, but he is actually bringing me in. Now, I'm not sure if you choose to go somewhere else, whether they automatically load in, but I've never noticed that before, and that's pretty cool. Because the next time I come into a small airport, I'll be looking out for the guy giving directions. So, let's go insert. So, okay, so it didn't save my settings from the last time, so we're just going to have... You see there's a big windmill in front of me there? Definitely not real. Definitely doesn't exist in Toronto. So, it looks like some kind of event center. Oh, that's the football team. That's the soccer team. That I've forgotten the name now. Toronto... Oh, craps, what are they called? Found that easy, didn't we? Toronto Storm? No. Oh, no, I'm thinking of something. I can't remember the Toronto football team's name. That's cool. I spotted that straight away because I watched a game a few years ago. They were playing Utah because I follow Utah a little bit. I don't follow them a lot, but I follow them a little bit. Okay, so that must be where the Raptors play. The Toronto Raptors. Can't remember. It's something Airlines, Canadian Airlines Arena, I think it's called. Canada Air or something like that. That's obviously the Space Needle, the Toronto Space Needle. Pretty cool. The Hamilton Wildcats play in Toronto, I think, which is their version of the Canadian Football League. They don't have an NFL team, so, but I don't know if they play in downtown Toronto or down towards Hamilton, and I would suppose they play towards Hamilton. There's a Toronto, is it Toronto Argonauts as well? I can't remember. CFL holds no interest. It's horrible to watch. Tried it. The movement on the line of scrimmage and everything. It's. I don't just mean from wide receivers, isn't it? Movement towards line of scrimmage. Sorry, not movement on. Move towards line of scrimmage. Don't like that. Okay, so yeah, I'm guessing the Argonauts play somewhere outside the city centre. I've got pretty good stadium eyes. If there's a stadium, Swifty will spot it. Hang on, Blue Jays. Where the hell did the Blue Jays play? Right, let's... Yeah, we have to find the Blue Jays stadium. I might have to Google this. We are there, Brian. Toronto... I forgot about the Blue Jays. Blue Jays. Now, I know their stadium can close, but that stadium in the centre of town there can't be it. Can't be it. That's got to be the Raptors stadium. I know the Toronto Blue Jays play in a stadium which it can close the roof, but I can't imagine that's it. I really can't. But it could be if it was taken when it was closed. So, Rogers Centre. There we go, Rogers Centre. Why didn't I know the name Rogers Centre? That's it. It's actually that. Now, why the tops closed? I'll never know. So that's the Rogers Centre. That's where the Blue Jays play, the baseball team. I'm pretty damn sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's it. So, wonder why they... I'm guessing it was raining the day that the satellite took the image or whatever. Don't know. So, Toronto Raptors. So let's actually find out where the Raptors Stadium is then. Toronto Raptors. 2020. Any Blue Jays fans there? Oh, hang on. Right next door. Hang on, I smell something fishy here. And the Toronto Maple Leafs play there. So, it's somewhere around here. Ah, there it is. Okay, yeah, okay. I actually spotted it straight away because I've actually seen an outdoor. So this is where the Toronto Raptors play and the Toronto Maple Leafs both play in the same place. I quite often do basketball and ice hockey teams. They normally play in the same area. And then the Blue Jays play there. That is such a cool spot where the Blue Jays play. I'm getting some weird rumble in my thing. So that's downtown Toronto. Okay. So there you go. I'll leave you with that view. That should be a nice view for you to all look at. I'm going to actually look at it on the preview. Yeah, it's a pretty good view. Okay, people. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4 hours. It's a pretty long one today. Not longer than it usually is, but pretty long. So I'm going to call it a night because I need to get something to eat. I haven't eaten yet. Just came straight from work and kind of started working on the stream. Try and get all these things in better thing. I don't like the thing flashing the money up at the top. I didn't mean to make it so big, but I was in a rush to get, and the other one's a bit out of whack as well. I was in a rush to get live because everything was going tits up. But I will be back tomorrow. I'll do a stream tomorrow. I didn't realise the map didn't load in from Sim Connect because it didn't actually load up. Oh no, I did load up. No, I didn't load up Sim Connect. So you didn't see my spades or anything coming in. But if you go back and watch that landing, that was a pretty sweet landing, considering I've just turned it off a couple of days ago to try it once. Today it was on, but it didn't appear, which must be an issue with the smaller airports, but we'll see when I do a flight from a bigger airport. Okay, people, I'll call it night. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you do watch this video back later, please do leave a like if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing. This flight plan will be in the Discord, probably from tomorrow. I'll upload it in the Discord along with when this video goes live. So if there's anything people want to follow, they can follow. Okay, so until then, I will say, I can't see my buttons. I will say 9-7. Enjoy the rest of your evening, people. Bye.